I have not looked at myself in the mirror yet. That was a mistake. Give me 1 second, fam. Let me fluff up my little fro hair. Let me touch up. How's everyone doing today? Amazing. Oh my God, the comments are already loaded. Let me cut through a couple of them quick. This is another little strategy I have. I'm going to cut through some of the beginning ones here while Sam gets all his work prepared, because Sam, my God, he is jacked up like a spider monkey. And we're talking about today, what we're talking about primarily, first of all, it's your boy, GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're talking about today. Sam wants to get to the bottom of when this parity is going to occur, down to the middle. Because yes, some of you guys listening know that stuff, but 90% of you just let people say those things and kind of just let your day go by. So we're actually trying to figure out the nuts and bolts of all this stuff. Why, how, between the liquidity, providing liquidity, yield farming, arbitrage opportunities. We're talking about all these DeFi platforms. There's just so much to cover, and they're all intertwined in a way. We're going to try to dig into it a little bit more. Sam's got charts, tweets, comment, everything. He's ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm jazzed up from the, I was going to say I'm blessed up from the neck up, but jazzed up doesn't work for that. So, I'm going to play real quick instead of, actually, no way. I'm playing my normal song. Can't help it.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Heart. Richard Heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died, collect. Hex, I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
What's up?
What's up, brother? How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fantastic.
I
just
didn't
got
really
back
have
from
to
the grid.
rendezvous with you too much today because I saw your activity all over the interwebs. So I kind of knew where your head was at. Like with that, I mean, we talked like for a couple seconds, but let's get straight to. I could have basically made the thumbnail without him saying anything. I knew what he wanted to talk about. It's clear. Sam, I actually have to run in my car for 1 second because I left something in there. But I want you to tell everyone for a second before we introduce everyone. What's on your mind, brother? Just because I'm even a little bit, I kind of want to have, I know what information you want, but I more so want to know why you're so concerned, right? Because that'll give me a better idea. I'm more of the overall thinker, and you're more of you like to get in there. So what are you thinking about mainly? Is it arbitrage? Is it just these opportunities that maybe 99% of the people will slip up on and not see? What are you thinking about?
Oh, well, I just want to be the fucking best, period. I want to know all the stuff I can possibly know in the arena, and what that allows me to do is see things or synthesize. So that just means fucking bring shit together in a way that other people may not be able to do, or it might not be obvious to them. So by going in really, really deep and asking some of these questions and trying to think about it in a little bit more in depth, and like, I might be drawing it out on paper and that kind of thing, because I'm really trying to understand. Because when I create content, for this is my personal objective, I just want to create the best, most valuable piece of content I can create out there. And for me to do
much
that,
about fluff. Is that fair to say?
yeah. I don't have time for that shit in my life.
So when you say you want to make the best content you can possibly make, you mean bypass everything else. You mean the most physically possibly valuable information to going into someone's ears, rather than, that's what you're talking about, right? Something that someone could actually value from.
100%.
Man, some people in this community could take notes on you, my brother. Because I mean, that's the truth. Like, nobody wants to do the hard work anymore. It's even hard for me, right? I'm more of a facilitator at this point. Like, yeah, in the future, I'll be way, 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 way smarter with all this stuff, guys. Right now, what I'm doing is bringing all the guys that are the smartest to the arena so Sam can pick them apart, learn as much as he can, and we can all brainstorm. Like, this is really just beneficial to me and Sam as much as it is to anyone watching, because I was at my house my whole life for the last 27 years. No one was talking to me about anything. Like, nobody was adding value to my life. Now, every single day at 11 a.m., massive value add.
Give yourself some credit too, because I feel like learning, to give this context, I feel like learning is a skill, just like going to the gym, the biceps of the jet. But the more you practice learning, the more you practice figuring out how to learn for yourself, it's just like the gym. You get better at it with more repetition. And because I felt that I was in a deficit with my learning, given that I was homeschooled my whole life.
So you felt that was a deficit for you, because I want to show you from my perspective what it made me feel like. This is what I just assumed naturally, right? You were homeschooled your whole life. I was in the public school, right? I never did one thing in school, so I knew I had no education. I just assumed, well, he's so analytical. Perhaps his parents really just fucking drilled into him or something, like really, or maybe you were like, fuck this, I want to do this on my own kind of vibe.
Yes. But so it's interesting, right, to see that perspective, because
I thought you were like smart because of it. Like, that's almost like I assumed, like, oh, maybe he had some like intellectual experience, and it, like, because I never had such a thing. I never had such a thing. So I never knew. I was just assuming, right? I was like, maybe that's why he's so sharp. But then I think about other people and I'm like, well, most people aren't sharp at all. And then some of them went to school and some of them others didn't. And it's like, so really it comes down to, at the end of the day, your life experiences and you building on them rather than just crying and hiding.
And going through, like, on the other side of that fence, right? The story that I was telling myself was not the same story, right? Like, I had a different story on my side of the fence, that I was in a deficit, that I wasn't learning as much as people in school, because I didn't know that school was a fucking joke. I didn't know that everything in school wasn't relevant to reality. Like, I had no idea that you don't actually do anything in school.
Neither did I. So when I was doing drugs and playing around, selling drugs, doing all this shit, like little back alley shit, learning the streets, not the streets, but learning the outdoors, learning people, figuring stuff out, I was learning at a rapid pace, and I had not a clue. I was learning, but I was learning more than 99% of people. I was interacting with 5 different groups of people at one time with no issues. You know what I mean? That's a skill, right? I didn't know that. I was hanging out with, I was selling drugs to guys that made lots of money, or, doing drugs with guys that made, and then selling guys to dudes that were fucking broke. And we were just boys. All of us, so you kind of learn how to, I was very savvy early on. I said, it don't really matter where everyone is. You just have to be cool, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be clowns and there's always going to be dudes that want to do stuff right. And you just have to let it be. Like, you're never going to say the right thing, right? Like, it's just.
No. Yeah, you just have to say what's right for you. But so going through that process, right? So I felt I was in a deficit, right? And I didn't realize that people on the opposite side had similar stories, but in terms of their POV, right? I think it might be just a common thing for people to feel. And due to that deficit that I felt, that I was behind everybody, that I wasn't learning as much, I just practiced learning more. And I think that's at least how I feel. Like, I just practice learning more, right? So if you practice learning more and trying to practice how to figure shit out, right? Like I practice the gym a lot, right? So you're practicing. Learning allows it to maybe, I don't know, I'm literally coming to this as we're talking here, allows that to conceptualize things maybe slightly faster, or because there's more
it's because
practice.
I know why, because 99% of people, other than you being smart, 99% of people never have enough time to even think about what they'd like to study on their own, because they just fucking work some silly ass job, and it takes up all their time, right, Sam? Like, because like I'm literally coming in here dumb, blinded, dumb. I was doing the same work for 5 years straight. I'm not saying that the work made me stupid. I'm saying I had no time to do anything else other than lift, because I wanted to lift. So I'm gonna go.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you need to
quick,
run to the car.
Profeta. Great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show last week. Terrafin, thanks for supporting as always. Human Hex Trafficker, great to see you. Godfather J6, good to see you, man. Biceps in the chat, everyone. Monica MoFit Meals, can't wait to see you with those MoFit meals in the fitness challenge. So we would love you to post your meals to the fitness challenge for sure, because believe it or not, like, Sam's not going to change his diet up. I'm probably not either, but I love looking at what people eat. I love it. It's so fun to look at, right? Like, especially when it's cool, right? Like when they're actually putting in effort. Like to get.
I think I follow her on Instagram. I think she's got a bunch of like fitness fitness stuff and meals and prep and that kind of thing.
I gotta make sure. Good morning, Hex and Chill Girl, the beautiful, the wonderful Hex and Chill Girl. Crypto Rangoon. Good morning. Space Case, smash the like. Space Case says smash the like. You better smash it. That's an order by Space Case. He's in the fitness challenge too, and he will smash on command when we're in Vegas if I tell him to. Rusty, I'll be deadlifting and listening at the same damn time. Rusty is jacked up. Guys, I realized the other day I want to eat more before the challenge. So I started, not a lot. I ate a little bit extra, just like the littlest amount. But to me, it was a lot. John May, what's up, fam? What's up? Erwin, Flat Earth, Underground, Godfather. Guys, the chat is going berserk. We got
love it. I love it. This is awesome.
John May, good morning. Are you serious?
Was that Booty Sniffer?
I think.
Booty Sniffer? Is that what that comment was?
What is it?
What was it? Booty Sniffer?
43 OG. Great to see you. Good to see you. Some of these names, guys. The problem with crypto names is they're all like crypto names. All right, guys. Hex Squid, great to see you, Erwin. Erwin's a savage. Somebody ordered a Hex shield, a pulse chain shield today. I saw that. He has a Hex name, so I can't.
Before when you're done with that, you run to your car, and I'm going to do a update on the fitness challenge. So go ahead and finish going through there, and then I'll give an update when you get whatever you need to do out of your car.
All right, we got crypto game. We got a couple left, guys. Crypto, and I've been looking up how to like be a better host, like literally looking it up and trying to figure out how to be a more engaging host. And it really just says, in the beginning, it is important to get to the chat, because then it helps my brain kind of get to the chat later on. Like, if you do it once, it's easier to do it twice. And if you skip it, you get left behind, right? So it's hard to like catch up. So while you're talking, I can still read the chat. I just don't have to address it. Good morning. And anyone who has not liked and shared this out, please, on mine and Sam's channel, it's up at the top here. Guys, we are going to be here every day. It doesn't matter how many people come in here now, tomorrow. It's over. It's over. When me and Sam put our mind to something, it would literally take a gunshot to the bullet to stop me at this point. So I said a gunshot to the bullet. That doesn't make any sense. I meant to the gullet. We have to learn the ghosts, the haters, as well as not feed into the bait. Yeah, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's true and all about the haters, but haters dig their own grave. Like, so it doesn't matter. They dig their own grave long before any of this occurs. It was long ago when those graves were digging, and they're just falling into them now. It's all good, guys. Sam, I got to run to my car and grab one thing. Please tell everybody about the fitness challenge update. And before we get into any of the crypto stuff, I would love to run the commercial. So I would love all your updates, thoughts. We have not talked about this yet this morning. I'm going to pull you up solo.
Yep. Go ahead and run the video quick.
Okay. I'm going to run it real quick.
And then we'll be right back.
Right into your face.
Asking.
Oh shit, I picked the wrong one.
Technical errors.
Yeah, keep
Let's
dabbing on him. Keep dabbing on him.
Boom. What's up? Okay, so the fitness challenge. I want to preface this by talking about there's a lot of people who would love to drop some body fat, right? That's probably the biggest section. Is that you? Are you trying to drop some body fat? Or maybe you're trying to put on some more muscle, right? Maybe you're trying to add some weight on. Or maybe you're in the category of people who have some like injuries or tightness or problems, right, with their physique, or maybe there's a muscle imbalance there. Well, we have a fitness challenge that we are running for 90 days. It is awesome. If you want to be a part of the fitness challenge, there's over $13,000 worth of HEX going to 3 prize winners. I don't know how we're going to split that up. Let me see if I can pull up. How do I add this to the screen, Bullish? The tab that I shared. There we go. Okay, so here's the sign up here. We have already 145 people competing. So if you like the odds, right, if you enter, one of 146 chance in terms of getting over $13,000 worth of HEX. By the way, just on a side note, that's more HEX than I have personally, right? And that's just one of the prizes. If we scroll down on this site a little bit, you just click here to sign up. It starts on May 1st. So after May 1st, you will not be able to enter to win. So if you want to be in the running to win that money, if you want to be in the running to better your life, if you want to take the steps necessary that you've been slacking in, you haven't been doing, like sign up, like do it. And you don't need to do this if you don't want to like enter to do this. It's absolutely free. If you don't want like free shit and you don't want like the content along with it that comes out for free, if you don't want the accountability that comes along with the leaderboard where you actually are getting points for doing the right thing, right? If you don't want any of that, like go do it on yourself, but you should definitely take action on improving and going in the direction of your health and wealth and all the pieces together. So that's what we're doing. We've got Shield Masters, who is sponsoring, right? That's all that shit in GRC's background.
Yeah, real quick about Shield Masters. A couple people ordered some shields today. If you do order a shield, make sure you use promo code GRC50. That'll give you $50 off. So it gives me a little kickback, but you literally get $50 off if you're going to pay. But guys, again, I always love to say this. If you don't have a position in crypto, I would say that would be your number one priority. In my opinion, a position in HEX would be dandy right about now over a shield of decorative nature.
Yes, or any triggered supplements, or well, there's 90,000 HEX coming from Motley. So if you think if you like the odds, right? We've got 145 signups. If you like the odds and you're like, wow, if I just get in there and I somehow put in the work and the effort and I show up for myself to build the confidence to get the results that I want for 90 days and you win that challenge, or you come in, there's 3 different people who are going to be winning. So the 13,000 might be 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000. Right, like that's a nice little thing to do to better your life, to get paid for it. Like that's coming from Motley. I haven't picked out exactly what's going to be for triggered, but it's going to be dope. You're also going to be getting achievement NFTs, and I'll actually be going on with Steak and Apes on my channel live later this week probably. So if you want to get more details on that, we'll be covering it either on my show or on Sunday's show. Who else is on here? Store credit. can you imagine how much clothes and cool, fun stuff that you can either get to give away for friends or get for yourself that you can get from, what is this, hexmerch.com? Store
Dude,
credit.
I got my DMs are stacked up. So like, dude, by the time I read all my DMs, who knows what the prize pool will be? Because I need literally another 25 minutes to get through my DMs.
Yes. So, and the prize is going to continue to grow, right? Like this is where we're at, 13,000. And I mentioned 13,000.
Did you tell them about the NFTs?
Just briefly.
Dude, achievement NFTs. So the better the achievement, the better the NFT. JPEG junkies, all for free. I don't know much about JPEGs or anything like that. I hardly knew what a JPEG versus a PNG was until a month ago, and I just learned. And so
question
I don't know
for
much
you.
about pictures, but people love them, and So Richard knows this. I know this. 25% of the volume on Ethereum knows this. NFT.
So here's an idea for anybody. This is more on the potential speculative side. If this is successful, if we really love the process and the journey of going through this and helping people, through the AMA that we're doing live Q&A on Telegram, that's you'll be able to listen and ask questions you have, whether it's nutrition related, on a micro or macro, on a supplement side, on a compound side, on a training side, all of that kind of stuff is going to be provided there. We really like this. We may actually tie something into the contract with the NFT so that if we do another one of these later in the year, you can get in for free or you get some special reward for having that NFT. So these are like, we can add things to this in the future. Because you own that NFT, you can get free shit in this in like the future. And the one thing about both of us, we love providing value. So if there's somebody,
that's all we do.
If there's somebody who participated and they have an NFT, I would love to be able to give them more value in the future because that's what I do.
Well, so me and Sam kind of made a vow at some point. We never like said it, but like Sam would not like me if I wasn't trying to provide the best show that I could possibly do. He would not respect me and he would not work with me, but I don't have to really ask him because he knows that I'm trying my best. And I'm trying my best to make this platform the most valuable for everyone that's watching, right? Sam's doing his piece on this show specifically to like give you what I need for the show. And I'm bringing him the bodies and I'm trying to, obviously we can all compare and contrast. We got Wendy's for tendies in the green room.
Oh, 145 to answer that question from
145 have signed up so far. Before I get Wendy's in here and do the little thing, can you help me out with a simple diet? Yes, every diet is simple, Hex Boy. Every diet.
We're gonna be doing AMA every Monday at 6 p.m. EST after May 1st on Telegram, which will be emailed out to everybody. We'll cover all the details again on this coming Sunday. But yes, we will go over diet stuff and how to move forward and all the approach on all of this stuff because we want people to get results. We want people
look at that right there, the bicep.
It's just solid. It's just
I'm not even.
Elliot.
So real quick. Bally Brand, my dad is joining the challenge too. He is in it to win it. Love it. Thanks, Jim Rat and Sam. Guys, real quick about the challenge. I'm not saying anyone's heavy or light or whatever, but if you have extra weight on you, it's easier to win the challenge, period. Because as I've lost a lot of weight before, anyone who's lost a lot of weight knows it's easier to lose weight than it is to gain weight. So in that way, right? If you have extra weight, it's easier to lose than if you don't have a lot of extra weight, it is to gain, right? Proportionally. So it's very easy, Sam, it's way easier to be impressive, in my opinion, if you're cutting weight. So I think that's a good opportunity. It's arbitrage.
For us. But there's a lot of other people that have a challenge in the opposite directions but like for us, it's harder to gain right necessarily. Because
what I know that I'm saying, like, I feel like there might be some people out here be like, man, I'm really heavy, or man, I've really lost it. I don't know if I can win the challenge. Like, no, you probably have a better chance of winning one of the challenges for that reason. I'm going to talk to the chat really quick. What's up, Bram? What's up, guys? Let me talk. Hi. John May, great to see you as always. Warming up those deads right now. Telegram group will come via email. Just chill and be ready for May 1st. Yes, everyone.
Sorry, can I interrupt you real quick? One quick thing I just remembered. If anybody has a business, if somebody wants to support but they don't want to do the challenge, they can reach out to us. There's actually an email that Bullish will drop in the comments on both of the channels. There's an email. If you're like, hey, this is cool, like I'd like to support this. I like supporting people working on themselves to get better, but I don't want to do the challenge myself. There's an email you can reach out. Just let us know, like, hey, I'd like to, I have this store or this digital thing or whatever the case is, and we can add that to the site and get ironed out the details of exactly what it is you're donating. And if you're like, hey, I don't give a shit about that, but I'll donate $10 by the end of today. So tomorrow's show will have a public Ethereum address that people can multi-sig, right? You guys will be 100% transparent about what we're doing.
We're trying to do it the right way. Yeah, we're trying to do it all the right way with all the. It's just taking me a minute with everyone to like.
First time.
You gotta learn it and stuff.
First time. A little awkward. Go ahead and get back into the comments there.
All right, Dante Jr., one of the guys who's the most jacked up. I don't want to say how. I'm curious to know how old you are, Dante Jr., because if you're as young as I think you might be, I'm not sure. You're in the right direction, doing fitness challenges and buying HEX. My God, who would have thought? Jay Everything, salute Hexagons. Great to see you, Jay Everything. Don't know if I've ever seen you in here before. Really, really appreciate that. Sam sent a DM to your Twitter, Ego Foundation. You'll get an answer to that in about 3 years. No, Sandy Beach, good morning. Doing real life now. I'll catch the replay. Great to see you, Sandy. Thank you so much. Really excited for it. Jerry, great to see you. I'm going to have – it's only based off fat loss and mass, or let's say if I go from 3 plates to 5 plates benched. Yes, exactly.
Tell them about the three. Tell them about the 3 ways to win.
The 3 ways to win. 1, me and Sam are voting on one person to win. 2, there's a leaderboard within the app that shows a winner. 3, the audience or the people within the community get to vote on a winner. So, guys, we're done talking about the fitness challenge for a minute. I want to talk crypto, Sam. Straight up. Straight up.
Let's go. This is –
Hey.
Who is this?
We can always talk fitness, man. I love fitness too. So
yeah, we could talk fitness too, but like Sam's been a sprung loaded like a. But yeah, no, we would love to hear real quick. What are some of your goals and some of the stuff you're excited about the fitness challenge? And I know Motley's excited, your boy. How have you been feeling about it?
I gotta say, shout out to Motley because this guy got rugged by somebody in the community for almost $20,000 and still donates 90,000 HEX to the challenge, right? So some people would be like, oh my God, I gotta recoup these losses, but he's such a giving person. He's, thinking of other people. He
doubles down.
Yeah. And, he's definitely one of my best friends. So I know where he comes from, and he definitely wants to see people do well. He wants to see people live their best life and be healthy. So shout out to him.
He does, and he wants that for himself, and he knows by motivating everyone else, it gives him accountability, right? So he knows by getting everyone else fired up, it's like, fuck, now I'm not doing my shit. Like, you know what I mean? That happens to me all the time. Balliet Brand, like always, thank you so much for the $33 super chat. Brand, his whole family's taking this thing extremely seriously. Like, he's like, my brothers are in, my parents are in, we're going for gold. It's funny. It's like always the successful Hexicans that want to win the hardest. It's hilarious.
Right.
they know how much.
Don't need the money
to win this.
They know how much fun winning is, though. It's not about the money to Motley just wants to win. Balliet just wants to win, but for himself.
Well,
improve his.
It is funny, man. I know some guys with a lot of t-shirts, like t-shirts that you can't even wrap your head around, and they still want more. So it's never enough.
How you feeling, Wendy's?
I mean, I'm a serial optimist, bro. I never I'm the kind of person that has to be forced to go to the ER and stuff like that. So I thought I was being a little bitch. I was kind of thinking that I was just kind of having a backache and stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I have a kidney stone, but I never had a kidney stone before. So and when I was a nurse, I was a pediatric nurse, so I'm not thinking about adult ailments too much, kidney stone was kind of as far as it went. But I started seeing so they misdiagnosed me, right? I went to urgent care and they misdiagnosed me, and I kept having other ailments, and I was like, oh, something's up. Maybe I have maybe it's not a kidney stone, or maybe it is a kidney stone, but maybe I have a kidney infection. And my girl's like, oh, don't be a tough guy. Like, you have to go to the ER, because if it is a kidney infection, you can do permanent damage to your kidneys by not getting it treated immediately. So I go, I drive myself to the ER, right? And I walk in, and I tell them, like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm a nurse, like, and this is what I have, like, this is what I've taken. This is like my symptoms. And they're like, and they went and do a diagnostic, and then the the doctor comes back and he's like, so surprise, you don't have a kidney stone, you have diverticulitis, which is essentially your intestine, your colon will like develop like pockets, and there's like these diverticuli where like things can get like kind of like entrenched, and it can cause like infection. And in my case, like there was like little holes that like ripped in the colon, and so that's where you can get like really, really serious issues. So like if that persists, you can actually have like part of your gut die. And so what they do for that is they'll like resect it. So they'll cut on the left and cut on the right, and then they'll give you like a colonoscopy bag, and that will let your gut is actually, I think because it's so vascular and has so much like mucus and stuff like that, it will sorry for like nerding out on you guys for a second, but
Yeah, my mom
yeah,
just had diverticulitis surgery like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
This is the stuff I talk about on my
painful.
other channel. So
Yeah, we like this shit.
Yeah, so your gut does heal very, very quickly. So like the average time for that is like 3 to 6 months. So it doesn't take too much. So if you catch it early, what'll happen is that instead of doing the surgery, they'll give you antibiotics to clear the infection, and then they'll give you a lot of pain medicine because it is extremely painful. They're like, it was funny because the guy was like, how are you laughing right now? Like, like it's kind of crazy, because I was like smiling in the ER and I was talking to them, and I was just like, oh, I can't believe I'm fucking back in the hospital. I retired last year and stuff. And it was funny because like Vince is like, dude, just start onboarding the nurses. And I was like, well, yeah, but it's so easy. Like, it was so easy for me because once I started telling them like my story, like there was like people were in shock, and like they didn't like believe it until I started like showing them in my phone. I'm like, oh, here, look, and they were like, wait, what? And I'm telling them my lifestyle and everything, and they're just like, what the one of the nurses in the ER is like, dude, you're blowing my mind right now. Like, this is, and so I just kept doing it. I get on the ambulance and I'm like, oh, I used to work on an ambulance, and then I'm telling them like, oh, I'm retired now, I'm rich, and they're just like, what? And so I just kept doing that like every which way. Anytime I had a new nurse, they're like, wait, you're a nurse? Where do you work? And I'm like, I don't work anymore. So just kind of like, it was kind of just very, very easy to just like keep onboarding people and stuff.
Well, nurses are great. They're always in the position where they want to learn more about, because they're working so much, and they're like, fuck this too. Like, I know a lot of nurses that are like, a lot of their time spent while they're working is a little bit like, fuck, it's like, fuck, like, like we're not getting paid that much, like this is a struggle,
right. And
grind, right?
Yes, it's very difficult work. It's very stressful. Like, one thing I gotta say is I feel so it was probably the worst week of my life. Like, I was hospitalized for a full week. I mean, the pain that you go through as a patient and all that stuff, it's terrible. I probably got stuck like 25 times with like large bore IVs, because I'm like on nonstop antibiotics and stuff, and those things like kind of like rot through your veins really quickly. So you gotta switch it up. It was fairly difficult. And like, one thing I gotta say is like, I'm a nurse, so I caught a lot of stuff. Like, I caught mistakes like left and right, and I was way more experienced than like some of the people that were taking care of me. So I was like, oh, you're doing that wrong. Like let me help you. Or there's just like a lot of instances where I was like, man, if I had no medical experience or I wasn't who I was, then it would have been a way worse experience. And one bad thing could have lent to something catastrophic. And so yeah,
have you ever heard of, so I'm big on like the health side, or peptides, right? So peptides is protein basically, but there's a peptide specifically from the gut juices, and it's a portion, right? So it's a string of amino acids. I think it's like 29, and it's called BPC 157. body protective compound 157. GRC knows about it because I talked to his ear off about it like years ago.
I've listened to thousands, tens of hours, 10s and 20 hours of stuff on BBC. I've never messed with it myself, but it's heard of miracles about it, read about miracles online about it.
Yeah, BPC 157. Yes, Chad. Okay, so I've read tons of literature. Like I started researching with it in 2016.
We're not doctors. No doctors.
Yeah, definitely not recommending anybody. But if you find it curious or interesting, you should definitely check it out. BPC was originally developed for like ulcers and stuff, and then they realized that it helped heal throughout the whole entire body, but specifically it was really good from your ass to your mouth, like your GI tract, right? And help healing throughout that. Like my mom just had surgery for breast cancer, right? She's on it. My brother just broke his neck like a couple months ago, and he's going through therapy. He's on it. I use it for repair purposes. It is amazing. There's 40 years worth of research on it. Extremely safe. They haven't been able to find. Check. If you have questions, send me a DM. If you have questions, like I can send you research papers or
send me the link for like where you get it, and I'll definitely order some for sure.
I've been using it since 2016. It is awesome. Like it is amazing. So, but go ahead, finish it with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's there's some like some of the stuff that me and Sam have heard of and talked about in different forums would like absolutely blow the minds of everyone in the HEX community, but it's really hard to even go to that arena because you know, it's not the place for it really. People can reach out to you and you can say whatever you want. Like, yeah, you can say whatever you want on stream, obviously, but like at the same time, it's like target audience, but there is a lot of mesh when it comes to these peptides and stuff because like like there's a lot of healing compounds. Everyone thinks, you know, everyone's talk about steroids, this, that. It's like, it's not even about any of that. It's about researching biology and understanding supplementation and what's possible, right? Like, it's like, what is possible? It's so a lot of the stuff that bodybuilders look into constantly is just like how to get a little bit better at stuff. So like, there's a lot of things that can help you with that. And it's not 90% of them have nothing to do with muscle or anything. It's just like regenerative stuff and like hair stuff. There's a lot of good hair for people that are losing their hair. Me and Sam both know how to rejuvenate hair loss when it's not 50% gone yet. Like if it's less than 50%, like you can still get all your hair back. I'm pretty sure.
Like I've done a lot. Like I posted on Twitter before, but
a lot of people don't know that, Sam.
This was like, I can pull up a picture later or something, but this was basically all gone. It was like this was back further, and this was like much smaller.
Yeah, but if you did that 10 years before, would your hair be all there? Yes.
Oh yeah, correct.
Because he didn't know this stuff until his, you know, maybe some of his alopecia was like fully set in. But hair loss is another thing that is preventable. And another thing people don't talk about is hair transplants, that a lot of bodybuilders talk about hair transplants as well. That's something I kind of know about, believe it or not. Although my hair has never fallen out or never will fall out, I just learned about this stuff through the time I was it's just like very cross path with bodybuilding.
When I started doing creatine, it like accelerated my hair loss like crazy. When I started using creatine, like back in the day, like it was wild. And then I looked it up and I like saw all this stuff about how it can, like if you're already like predisposed to that it can like accelerate it.
Yeah, basically anything. If you're predisposed to androgenic alopecia, like a stormy day can make your hair start falling. You know what I mean?
I have a different theory on that because like that's what we're told. But like, so I go to the gym that's 2 minutes from my house, and they've got pictures up from, 40, 50, 60 years ago, building, but it wasn't really bodybuilding. It was like fucking dudes working out at the beach, and like that was the competition back in the day, right? And if you look at the guys who are like competing, so to speak, but also the audience that's around them, just in these pictures that are 60 years old, all the dudes have hair. So is it really that, or is it a micronutrient and lifestyle deficiency? Right, that's what I actually
like. What about my lifestyle? It's also trash my whole life, and my hair has been thicker than the forest.
I can also tell you it's a genetic thing, right? So like when we were in Puerto Rico, I'm like looking around, and I said to Motley, I go, have you noticed there's like no bald dudes here? Like every bald dude
related
is. I mean, it could be.
Are they fat Fs down there too?
There are for
I mean,
sure.
is it like a good sprinkle of obese people?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the diet down there is
Yeah.
not the healthiest, bro.
No, it's
Mofongo
definitely not. I was just
is
thinking on
pretty
my
thick,
feet and then
thick.
I realized.
But yeah, I was like, you could just tell that like the Puerto Rican people in general have very good genetics. You know, they're very like gifted genetically.
It could also
So
have something to do with the exposure to the sun as well. Like a lot of us stay inside for so many years on end when we're doing our
true,
work, right? Maybe that has something to do with it. I've also never
could
had a job where I had to stay inside ever. So maybe, but also when I was young, Sam, it's funny, like there's these cues that I get. Like when I was young and I would get haircuts, like the ladies would say, "You'll never lose your hair." And when I was young, before I was in puberty. And I said,
So think about this, right? I
like, how
think
do
we
they know
all,
that?
I think the three of us, and probably a lot of people in the comments, agree that this is, and I'm pointing in my head for anybody who's listening, is the most powerful tool you will ever use, right? So GRC is told this story when he's a kid that, oh man, your hair is so beautiful, so amazing, it's so thick, you're never gonna lose your hair, right? And then my dad's and my grandpa completely bald. Oh, hey Sam, your shit's gonna be lost, right? So there's
I'm
a
so
internal
surprised you think that way, but I mean, I totally get it. Like if that's your experience, hey, I haven't looked into it that much.
Well, because like I look at these pictures from 60 years ago, and like everybody has hair, right? Then you understand how powerful this is. You can ask Wendy's. I guarantee he's going to answer this question. Wendy, would you rather have a patient coming in to take care of who is like, oh my God, nurses are the worst people in the world. They don't give a shit about me. They always constantly fuck shit up. This procedure is going to last longer than it needs to be. I'm going to get an infection. Oh my God, I'm a hypochondriac. Or the person, oh my God, nurses are such wonderful angels here to help people. This is going to be fast as fuck. I'm going to be back in doing my life. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to get this done now. Like, who would you rather deal with? Because you know the one's going to create fucking complications in their mind.
right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Sam,
it's
come
actually
on, there's so
interesting
many
though
people
because
that are bald, bro.
certain people in nursing. Well, I'll say a couple things on this. Certain people in nursing, like in where I worked, they always gave me that patient because I'm like I have a very like calming, voice, and it takes a lot to get me rattled up. So they would always give me like the difficult patients, but obviously like the patient that is positive and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like old principles on this, right? I personally believe in manifesting. I think that if you speak it, you can speak things into existence. It's even a biblical principle. As a man thinketh, he is. That's something that's been touted for a long time, and I really think that there's like a lot of power behind it. And like if you look, I was always taught as a kid like not to be a hater. Like if you're a hater, then you're basically saying like I can't have that. You're like you're taking yourself out of the competition essentially. Whereas if you're like congratulating or you're at least like happy or open, you say like, well, how do I get there? And that's how you become successful. It's definitely not by like being a hater. So
Yeah, you gotta you gotta know. Yeah, being a hater is such a sellout bitch move. It's just like I ran out of shit to say. Here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's really all it is, right? I got 150 different topics that I could cover today on crypto. Easily. Easily could write down 50 right now. No problem. And some people decide to talk about nonsense. It's like it's retarded.
Well, I mean, like think about it. Like think about how easy it is to let like negativity like come over. Look, I just spent a week in the hospital, bro. Like I was on top of the world a week before, right? I'm more fit. I'm more fit than probably like 80% of dudes in the population, right? I'm leaner, I have bigger muscles. Like is it fair that I was hospitalized because of, like my gut, like there's guys out there that are like slamming back McGangbangs daily, and I was in the hospital. Like that shit's not fair. But like, do I focus on that? No, I just say like, okay, like this is the cards I was dealt, and I'm gonna like try to my best to overcome it. Like that's just how you have to
bet
be
on
in
your
life.
future self, right? You bet on your future self too. Like some dude smashed into my car. I didn't have a car for 40 days, and I literally got the check like 2 days ago for the thing. I never gave a shit. I was like, I'll just sit in my house then and fucking work.
Bro,
Whatever.
like you can't change the cards that you're dealt. There's going to be people that are adopted by Madonna and Angelina Jolie, right? Like some kids just have the silver spoon that they're just like brought into this world with, right? Like you can't change what you're born into. but you can start making decisions every day after that. So like, interesting story. I was like walking around the neighborhood because I was literally like cooped up in bed. Like, I actually was like trying to do push-ups and stuff like that in the hospital. Like, I was just trying to do anything, bro. Like, I'm just like, man, I could just feel like strength leaving me and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, they wouldn't let me go outside. They wouldn't let me walk around. It was a nightmare. Yeah, bro, it felt like prison. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, do I gotta like slip somebody a C note to get the fuck out of here or something? Like, just let me go for a walk or something. Like, I felt my lungs like I don't know if it was like the developed, like the starting of like like what it would feel like to get pneumonia, but like I felt like my lungs getting like, I don't know how to explain it, maybe like heavy or something like that. Like, I couldn't take full deep breaths. And even right now, I'm just walking around and I'm getting like gassed and stuff like that, you know? So it's like, man, it really like, took a lot out of me, but
you could hear it in your.
You probably see a couple cuts that you didn't. The one thing, little secret about the hospital is you can usually get away with losing a little weight, getting a little free cut in.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, the 2 days, the 2 days of no eating and the 2 days of like clear liquid diet was pure trash. I was like, so the second day they had like they're giving me like this fucking lime jello and it was so disgusting. But I was so fucking hungry. I ate it and I just instantly puked it up. It was like disgusting. Yeah, I was just like ate it and I was like, this shit sucks. And I was like, just like green liquid just like flying out of my mouth. I was like, oh god, this is miserable.
Yeah, if your life's good, you just look at everyone. You're like, I ain't dying. They're like, nope, and you're like, fuck yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really, because all Wendy's hopes for and I hope for is that my family and I just don't die in a weird way. Like, I just live my life.
Bro, we're all gonna die, man. It's just about doing what you can while you're here, trying to impact others' lives, try to lead the best and happiest life that you can live, right? And it's the stuff that like Richard Hart talks about, right? It's like, call your mother, like spend time with your loved ones, I try not to go to sleep angry with people,
Find a girl who loves
just
you.
live a good life.
Find a girl who loves you, like GRC by himself in his house all day.
yeah, like all that kind of stuff. So interestingly enough, okay, so I was walking I just remember what I was going to say. I was walking last night, right, and I was listening to I was listening to K4K and I was listening to Sam's video on the parody stuff. So we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I'll pull it up in a minute. Yes, because I want to hear your.
This guy. He's a young African American man and his girlfriend. They're probably like 18, 19, something like that. They're walking in my parents' neighborhood, and I'm just like just trying to like build back my lungs up and stuff like that. And I like sometimes I'll like turn down like the audio when people walk by in case they say like hello or something like that. I'm not like a dick, and I just like keep walking, Yep. So I turned it down, and he said, "Hello, sir."
Nicer guy than me.
Yeah, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, so then he like stops, and I was like, "Okay," and I was like, he goes, "Do you day trade?" And I was like, I mean, I have," and he looked all like excited and stuff, and then I was like, "Well, like, what do you day trade? You day trade like stocks or crypto?" He's like, "Oh, like, I'm learning crypto," and I was like, "Well, buddy, you stopped the right person." So I started like blowing his fucking mind, and so I instantly.
Why did he ask you? Why did he ask you though?
Like, I guess I look like a rich motherfucker, man. I don't know.
No, I mean, were you like dressed? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like,
bro, I was wearing Adidas like and one basketball shorts and like a t-shirt. It wasn't even
like you were chilling. T-shirt. You just looked like you were on chill mode.
Yeah,
but like when you're excited about like. I'm talking to dudes at the gym. I'm like, hey, bro, get your friends together. I'll do a free fucking like seminar and teach you guys everything I know.
I do that all the time.
You're just excited about it. You want to share it with other people because
and you have pep in your step too. You have pep in your step. So people are like, why does that guy got so much pep in his? They don't think it. They don't see it, but they feel it, right? Like a lot of the draw to like public speakers and people that are really good in front of people is that they have pep in their step. You know what I mean? Like they have a little pep, and people are like, wow, he's got a little pep. Like I want to have. You know what I mean? It's like. So let's talk about it, Sam. I want you to pull up something, whatever you want to pull up right now. Just spit it out.
I'll give some context because you two both already have the context, but probably most of the people watching don't have the context. So I did this video yesterday talking about parity with the 4 kind of versions of hex, right? You have Ethereum hex, you have Pulse hex, and then you have wrapped of each one of those on the respective chains. And I put together, let me see if I can share this with you. You guys see this okay? Right? Okay, so this is like pretty simply how it might look, it's going to look, right? Where you have the E hex over here, then on Pulse X, you have a bridge that goes back and forth. So we want to understand both sides to understand each of these pieces, to understand if there's going to be parity happening relatively quick. For those of you who are not sure what parity means, it's just like, are they going to be the same price? Meaning, like if you have 10,000 in your bag of E hex, you can have 10,000 on the Pulse chain side. And if you're like, well, it's just a copy, right? It might be somewhere between 0 and 10,000. But I make the argument that I think it's going to be a lot closer to 10,000 than a lot of people are actually guessing, right? At least in the conversations that are publicly available online and the people who are talking about it, right? I'm sure that there's plenty of other people who are be like, yeah, this is what's going to happen because they have the bags to do this. So let's walk through this example real quick. So we have eHex here. Now, somebody can take that on the bridge and they're going to send it over here. Now it's going to be wrapped hex, right? You can't stake this in the hex protocol, but maybe you can put it up as an LP pair. You can earn yield on this, right? But
hold on. I want to stop there real quick before I get ahead of myself.
Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the problem to me, this is just my brain completely. So please, everyone, just fill in. The problem to me with comparing wrapped hex to regular hex is the functionality is completely different. Because there's no wrap staking protocol as of right now for.
So let me counter that, right? So what GRC is saying is that this is completely fucking different than this. Cool, I completely agree, right? What does this do for you? Earn a yield. In its most distilled version, it earns you a yield. What does this allow you to do? Earn a yield. It's just you got to earn the yield over here, not on the protocol, right? Which for certain people would be advantageous because they're like, I don't want to lock my shit up. I just want some monthly income coming in, and I'll skim that off and I'll put it into a protocol or let it, build, and then I'll put it into the hex protocol, right? Or maybe they just want to do this. People maybe like Wendy's or people who have a lot more hex than I have, right? It's in their best interest to do this, right? So if you bring this over here, and then say if there's like a 1 to 10 ratio, right? And these, I'm not saying this is going to be the ratio, but just for conversation purposes here. So somebody takes their eHex, they pay the fees right here, right? They're going to pay an ETH fee, they're going to pay a Pulse fee, and then they're going to pay a Pulse X fee to do this. I think it's 0.1, somebody can correct me in the comments, but the bridge fee, I believe, is 0.1%. Pulse is going to be nothing, and then ETH might be, 10 to 50 bucks, or depending on what's happening in the market. So they bring, say, 10K over. Right? Now over here, to counter what your argument is, right, GRC? Because if you're like, hey, something doesn't make sense, interrupt me. Like, bro, you missed this thing. Okay, so say over here, this is 5K, right? To go off of your argument, what you're saying that this over here is not as valuable. Why would people pay for it, right? You can't do anything with it, right? Well, what does that mean if this is 5K on this side? Well, that means that Sam, anybody could go over here, purchase this for 5K, send it back across the bridge, minus the fees here, and they take their 5,000, they turn it into 10,000. Right? So that's going to be an arb opportunity right there.
Yeah, because it's the same asset.
Correct. It's just a derivative, right? You're just pushing it to one side or the other. Okay. Now, this ratio here, right? So there's going to be I don't
even know if it's. I guess you could. I maybe by like definition it's a derivative, but like it literally like so when you send an eHex over, it stays in the bridge contract, and then it unlocks wrapped eHex on the other side. So it's because it's 1-to-1 redeemable. I don't even know if it's actually a derivative. I guess maybe it is.
Like
but,
an MDO, which is a mortgage-backed
Yeah.
security of some sort. It's
Right.
You're like, okay, well, it's just mortgage. Yes, it's a mortgage, but it's kind of derivative just because the way that it's structured. Like it's
Yeah.
semantic. It's semantics one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like,
What about this
It's
comment real quick?
essentially the same as trading as trading one, you know, because it's like wrap Bitcoin, right? Like you can go to the contract, you can buy a wrap Bitcoin on Uniswap, go to the contract, and then unwrap the Bitcoin and have Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network.
Thank you. Exactly what Wendy's was just saying. That's all you're doing. You want to make free money? If this is the ratio, cool. You just made $5,000 minus fees. Super simple.
Hold on real quick. So I suggest a correction. Your graphic pHEX is a DEX on Pulse Chain, not the name of the bridge. Well,
yes, it's going to be a copy of Omni Bridge, which is the bridge between, I think, DIAX or something like that, and Gnosis or some chain or something like that. I'm going to be doing a video on the white paper. I've got it pulled up as a browser tab. After I read through the white paper,
I very much appreciate your graphic update rather than the full-on just writing. You have the boxes there, which is nice.
Okay, so what happens over here? So say this is a 1 for 10. Now we're going to be looking at this side here, the pulse side. If this ratio is 1 for 10, then let's change this color up now because we're going to be on pulse. So let's use purple. So say you could take one of these and you get 10 of these, right? So you're like, ooh, that sounds like a good idea. So what is anybody who owns an pHEX going to do? Bro, did you know you can bridge your shit over and pay a $30 or $50 fee and you get another zero on your bag? Right? And why would people do this? Because of what you mentioned. If I get a 10X, say 10K, 12 cents is about 83,000 hex, right? So on this side, 10K is 83,000. On this side, if this were the ratio, this is 833,000 hex. Cool. Take that shit and fucking post it or like interact, stake it on the protocol and you just make more money. Right? Post it up, and like, look at my bag. I just added the zero, and I didn't do anything.
Jim Rat talk.
So this, what does that do? It drives.
You ever
this
make a staking protocol, Sam? Instead of stake, make it post.
Right. So this wouldn't be the ratio because then people could just print money, even if it's 1 for 2. People are still going to do that because then they're like, yo, you can take your 10,000 and which is equivalent to 83,000 hex, and bring it across the bridge and then swap it for pHEX minus the fees, and you get roughly 160 in your bag instead of 180 hex. You should do this. But of course people are going to fucking do that. So when you think about what that means, right, that this is going to drive this ratio very close to 1 for 1. Could there be opportunity in the pre-bridge time frame? Possibly, and you can run the same example going this direction, right? If like
I actually think that it's going to start essentially 1-to-1, and then it's going to like drastically diverge from there. I don't think they're going to come anywhere close to 1-to-1 for the record. I think it's
cool. I want to hear your thoughts. So
hold on. Okay, ask your question, Sam. I gotta think while we're talking.
Wendy's. Okay, so I don't think, hopefully everybody can see like the logic, the rationale running through this. You can do the same thing for the other side on the E side. If you bring Pulse over, you can just run the same thing. You do just the uni swap instead of pHEX, and the ratio you'd have to factor in a higher fee, right? Okay, so Wendy's is saying that shit is going to be set for 1 potentially to start with, and then it's going to trade off of that.
Because
so what
that's
are your
the goal of the
thoughts?
AMM bot, right?
Yeah, I think that he'll probably he's going to be the one setting the ratios, right? So like it would make sense that he would set it 1-to-1 to start, and essentially he said there's not going to be cheap pHEX, right? So 1-to-1 would make it so that there's not cheap pHEX. It's the same exact price, because you have to remember that we're likely to not see a break.
Clarification. Okay, so you're talking 1-for-1. We're talking about 1-for-1 wrapped pHEX and pHEX. Is that correct? Or 1-for-1 pulse to pHEX?
No,
which
we're
ratio?
talking
about
hex to hex.
Hex. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So it's likely that we won't see the bridge for maybe even 2 days. So people are gonna be trading ratios for a while. But I mean, so even without a ratio, even without a price, if you know that the ratio is 1-to-1, then you know what the price of, essentially pHEX is on, the pulse chain, because if it's, or pHEX, I should say, like the pulse chain version of hex, just hex. So you know what the price of hex is on the pulse chain, because if it's at a 1-to-1 ratio, and you know what the price is live on Ethereum, then you know what the price is. So I think it's going to start like that, and then I think you're going to probably see a lot of people dump for the hex, because I mean, he's like, let's be real, he's calling that the version of hex. Now, because of Hart's law, the more liquidity that comes over, they're going to be somewhat bonded together. But like, people say a lot of stuff. They say, oh, arbitrage. Well, when you're arbitraging, you have to arbitrage the same asset. Okay, I can't buy a Bitcoin and sell it for an Ethereum on Ethereum, right? Like, you have to buy Bitcoin to sell Bitcoin, right? So like, if Bitcoin is lower on one chain or another, I can buy it here and sell it somewhere else, right? That's arbitrage. So you have to arbitrage the same assets, right? So just because
there are some really advanced stuff where you can arbitrage based on correlation, but it's traditionally it's just asset to assets, A and A, not like A and C or something.
Keep in mind that pHEX can't be paired to Pulse until the bridge is live.
No, wait, what? Wait, say it again. Say it again.
Also, keep in mind that ETH-HEX, regular hex, can't be paired to Pulse Hex, pHEX, until the bridge is live.
Yeah, like nothing that's bridged over, which would be like hex on Ethereum, that happens after the bridge is live. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying he sets it at 1-to-1, the hex is on the pulse side, and then you actually you couldn't even do that. You can't do it until it goes live, right?
Yeah. So I wonder if he will do it first, or if he's gonna let the market do it. Then if he's gonna let the market do it, then you got to be really careful, because somebody could set like a crazy ratio, and that could be, I mean, it could be advantageous or it could screw you. But I think that the only time that they would reach parity would be like when a ratio is set. Otherwise, I don't see anybody agreeing that they're the same price. Like, I mean, if you look at like every poll I've seen, or just talking to people, I would say that like the vast majority, over 90% of people, especially people with big bags, think that hex is going to outperform the Ethereum version. I mean, you got to think that like
in which way? In which way? What's the logical thought process behind that? Right? Because if you have
networks, because these networks are social consensus. So it like the underlying stuff doesn't matter. It just matters what everybody like agrees upon, and everybody's agreeing that is hex. So that's the one that they're going to support. And like, I just don't see the Ethereum version trading 1-to-1. I'm not saying that it's going to die, and I'm not saying that it's not going to do well. I'm just saying that it's going to trade at a discount to hex on the Pulse chain. And also like it's cheaper, it's quicker. Like, why would you want to use the thing that's slow and sluggish and more expensive? So there has to be a premium for those things, right? Like, are you going to pay more for a car that's slower, more expensive? Like, no, you're not going to do that. That's ridiculous, right? Why would you do that? You're going to pay more for a car with more features, right? So
the implied extra benefit there. I can see that when you just factor in fees, right? When you just think about fees, because most people are not going to be able to model out what you're talking about, but when you just factor in fees, somebody can model that out, right? So there's going to be some type of implied discount just because of fees.
There has to be, and then not to mention, like, I think so as far as like onboarding goes, is it going to, you're going to have, like, you got to think about like what's safe for your onboards and stuff, right? So like, do you tell them to get the Ethereum version of hex when we don't know what's 100% what's going to happen? Obviously the Godwell could come in and just be like, yeah, it's going to do well, right? We don't know about that. We don't know, but we do know that the the Pulse version, because it's actually hex, is going to do well. The community supports it. Like, we're all happy about moving to Pulse chain. So from like a safety standpoint, you could tell people like buy hex on the Pulse chain. And not to mention, like, for onboards, like, fees matter, right? Like, my girlfriend's like, well, what about the people like me that don't, I can only buy like $500 worth, like, if I have to pay $100 in fees, like, that's eating a huge chunk of my money, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. So like those people are not going to buy the Ethereum version of hex. Now, again, don't know. Ethereum's been here for a long time. There's obviously value in that it's not going anywhere. It's going to proof of stake. There's going to be other layers and stuff like that. So who knows what happens?
Wendy's counter to that. Okay, so let's play that out, right? Like, because I agree with a lot of what you're saying. So just to have a dialogue, okay? So say what Wendy's is saying. If I'm going to paraphrase what you're saying to make sure I'm understanding it, and then go a little further. Okay, so like you have two things. One appears way better than the other one, right? So that's going to be implied that one price is probably going to be traded at a premium relative to the other, just due to fees. But there's other like speed and costs, like speed and just the one is by Richard Hart, the other is not, right? So there's going to be more support in one direction, right? Okay. So what if you play that out, right? Then that could potentially also lead to a decrease in the or an offset of the, because I still think parity could play out, and that's because of this piece that I'm about to mention. Because if you have a decrease in the number of stakes over a period of time on pHEX, then the rate goes up, the yield goes up on that side to offset that premium, so that they can still trade at parity, if that makes sense, to compensate for the extra fees and the supposed.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time, please.
Okay, so if you think of the cost differential, just look at fees, right? There could be some other peripheral things, right? pHEX is more expensive than pHEX, right?
At this moment, yeah. At
this moment. So what is that? What could that lead to if that one's trading at a premium and the other one's trading at a discount?
Well, there's a couple different ways to think about this too with the staking thing, because when the fees are low, the staking is just completely different. Like the way that people stake and the way that people do.
Correct.
So different.
So you have two things. Good. I'm glad you brought this up. Thank you. This makes it more thorough. You have two things to consider. How does what Wendy's argument affect the ratio of people staked on pHEX, and how does it affect the ratio on pHEX? So let's take a look at pHEX first. So if you think of what Wendy's is saying, you're like, oh, that's absolutely true, right? So then you're like, okay, how might that go through and affect the ratio of people who choose to stake, independent of how they fucking do their shit? There's the quantity of stakers, right? Because that's going to affect the rate.
The stakes on Ethereum will trend longer, and to compensate for the cost, for sure.
But what about the actual ratio?
I mean, it's unknown.
What are your thoughts on that, right? Because I see that the ratio changing. You know what I mean? To compensate for that premium you're talking about.
So you're saying in some world, some people think that ratio will be the same all the time. I don't think there's no way that it'll stay the same.
If that's the case, right? If you believe in like rational characters, generally speaking, right, and you believe that markets are relatively efficient, so to compensate for the same thing, right, you have basically the same fucking thing trading on two networks. One's more costly than the other one. In like legacy, how that compensates.
Oh, are you saying like the flow of traffic will make it flow back? Like it's just
in terms of the staking. So right, we're at 9.6, right? So you're going to get 9.6 and 9.6 of the pool of hex on each side is staked. Over time, this could come down on the pulse on the pHEX side, and then the other side could go up, compensating for any type of premium that there might be. So if you're like, okay, cool, I can go to pHEX, I pay higher fees, but I earn a higher yield.
It's kind of weird because like you can do like the mental gymnastics all day, but like I think just being in crypto long enough that the only thing that really matters is like the social consensus, which it doesn't make sense when you think about it, but it's like if a lot of the community agrees, like, and he's already framed that like hex is hex, you know, like the pulse chain version is going to be hex. Like we used to say pHEX, right? And he's like, no, it's hex, you know, and so everyone's like, it's hex. So because of that, they won't reach parity. I don't see it. And like if you look at like, so Matic had trading of hex for like a long time, right? So you could trade hex on there. You could go on there and buy hex for like fractions of a penny, and pretty much nobody did it. People paid the fees on Uniswap. Why? Because they weren't. That's where the community was. You know, there was people over there.
I think there's probably
like
also a lack of knowledge and education. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, no, we all. I mean, it was talked about. It was talked about because there was people like when there was like QuickSwap was paying. I think like I can't remember what the APY was, but it was very high. It was very high to start to get like hexagons over there. Maybe 50%, something like that.
It was that hex.
I mean,
no, you couldn't.
Still trading at parity. You
were essentially yield
that's
farming
crazy.
it,
No,
right?
it's still crazy. I know what you're saying. If you were going to have liquid hex anyway, like
you were essentially yield farming it, and like the price of like the price of QuickSwap went from like it was like maybe like $200 and went to like $1,000. So you imagine you're making 50% and then 10x. It's a lot of money, dude. It was a lot of money.
So to go off to as in a positive or a thing that like if you're like, okay, if you think history is like a good indicator of what could happen, right, with hex over on QuickSwap, right, it's trading at basically parity.
It wasn't always, honestly. It wasn't.
No, but like
same asset, there was sometimes multi-cent differences. So you could arb. You could go over there and arb. You could just buy hex like way cheaper. And
so I think that's going to happen because what we're talking about in the community is substantially larger now than it was.
The reason I think it won't happen is just because there's so many more active people that are going to be on Pulse Chain and that are already on Ethereum that like people won't let those like arbs happen, right? Like if it's a 1 cent difference, that's pretty big. So I don't think it'll get like that, but I think it'll be pretty efficient. And I mean, I already know people who are building arb bots, so.
Dope. That's awesome to take advantage of that.
That's some green room talk. We call that green room talk where I'm from.
There's also going to be an opportunity with like the liquid loans, the loan token, because according to them, you got 3 buckets, right? You got like you can borrow, you can put your pulse in there or borrow against it, right? You got the middle bucket, which is their stability pool, and then you have the loan staking bucket, right, so to speak. So that middle bucket is where you put in your USDL and you basically earn pulse by doing that, and you mint the loan token, right? So and you're going to mint that at a certain ratio. So when you think about that, you're like, okay, I put in 10 grand of USDL and I get, just say, for example, the ratio is 1 for 1. So you get like 10,000 loan token, right? But what if you go to PulseX and that loan token is trading for 8,000 or 11,000? Then you could just do the same type of thing in reverse. So like that ratio is going to hold what is actually happening on PulseX with the loan token, or you know, people like Wendy's friends, or if I can figure out how to do it, I will be taking advantage of things like this because there's so many different opportunities like that across the board in so many different ways. Wendy's, have you thought about that or consider that? Because I see them talking about their arbed USD stablecoin, right? But nobody's talking about the issue with, right? And that shit's going to change every year. He said it's going to drop by 50%. So next year the ratio is going to change. And if it changes all at once, I haven't been able to get clarity on that. But if it goes, say, from 10,000 to 10,000 tokens of loan token that you may be able to mint, right? Like if they're like, if that's a gradual tick down every single day, that's going to be one thing. But if it goes from 10,000, then next year it's down 10,000 gets you 5,000 loan token, right? Right there's opportunity in some way.
Real quick. Jerry Oaksmith wants us to give us a quick second break. I'm going to switch it up for just a second. Bring it right back if you want to after we're done. Let's just give it a breather for a second for everyone in the comments that's on 2x speed trying to catch up. Guys, if you're new and you're already signed up for the challenge, you can skip to the 45-minute mark because we talked about the challenge. If you already signed up, now if you haven't signed up, go back there and check all that out. But so yesterday I had a discussion with the founder, maybe, I don't know, bullish. Is he the founder of Fiat? It's PHIAT, and it is a Aave fork. And I wanted to ask Wendy's, as far as a platform like that, a decentralized finance lending platform, and all the stuff that they provide, is that something that, if worked properly and was completely functional, you would want to take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, I think that those things are needed on every chain. The full DeFi, interoperability. Now, whether Fiat should be the one to do it or it should be another team, like, I can't speak on that.
There's going to be many teams trying this, by the way. Many.
Can somebody can you, if you have any context, even if you don't know all the intricate details, can you share what the F is talking about?
Pull it up, Sam. PHIAT.io.
PHIAT.io
without the F. Fiat.
Oh, okay. Fiat. Okay, gotcha. I don't have no idea. What is this thing that he's talking about?
It's DeFi. It's a lending protocol.
So is it liquid loans? Like, what is it? That kind of thing?
No.
Okay. What is it?
Liquid loans is like essentially a stable coin, like make or die. Aave is a lending protocol where you can go and supply assets and borrow other assets. So liquid loans, you cannot like put your HEX there and take a loan against your HEX.
Ooh. Wait, so you could take what you could take?
Hey, let's say you have Dogecoin in your bag right now, Sam. You got a big fat bag of Doge. You can pair it in here and you can take out a loan.
Go to Aave. Just type it in Google.
But this is all done. Like I was playing with the test yesterday.
AAVE, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, AAVE.
IO.
Yeah, and even Compound's another one.
Aave. Yeah, it's an Aave.
Oh, so you could pull out any like
Aave is multi-chain, so Aave might actually even come to Pulse Chain, which I would feel much more comfortable with that than just trusting some random team, because, like, let's be real, like, DeFi gets hacked all the fucking time.
This is hard.
I'm not just look, I'm not trusting random people with my money, with my millions, like, unless
how much
build
education
it myself.
Would they need for you to think that they have any kind, or is it just like trust via knowing someone at that point, via their reputation?
I mean, like, if it's, at this point, I'm either like, I have to know the people, or I have to like for example, if Aave, okay, they're trusted, right? Like, Aave's trusted. They've done this before. They're already multi-chain. I've used their contract on plenty of chains and stuff like that. So initially, like, obviously I'd have to do the deep dive and stuff like that and get some of my dev friends to look at everything. But, like, there's just so many things that can go wrong. So I'd rather trust the people who've done it a million times rather than, like, this is the first time we're doing that,
So question on this, if so you could put in, if it is multi-chain, right? Like, if Aave is like, okay, we're the fucking lending protocol for all chains, and they decide to do the work to do that, right? So you could put in, hypothetically, put in Pulse, and you could borrow Bitcoin or something like that.
So usually what will happen is you'll either supply, or you will you'll supply and you'll get like an APY, or you'll say, like, okay, I want to borrow, right? And so you'll, like, put up, let's just say, like, 10 Bitcoins, and it's like, okay, this is your interest rate on the 10 Bitcoins, and then someone else will, like, come and take those Bitcoins and do something with it, and in turn, for the so once you supply the 10 Bitcoins, you will see the supply that's on the network. So the people that are supplying for the APY, you could use those 10 Bitcoins and get, pull so many ETH or whatever, and then you could do, stuff with the Ethereum. It's basically money Legos. You're just, like, supplying one thing, taking another.
It's just how not to pay taxes.
Is there? Yeah, this is fucking crazy because I
This
I'm
all
like
I
I
this
gotta
all I
fucking
think
look
about
at
when I
this.
look at this stuff. All I think about is where can I put my shit so I don't have to pay taxes and take it out?
Well, we shouldn't
When
talk about that on
Simply.
here, but
Yeah, no, I know.
this is not the place though. That's not the place for that. There's other places.
Yeah,
Wendy's,
but I need
is
more.
there
I want. That's what I'm more want to know about in general.
Wendy's
We'll talk about it.
Yes.
On Aave or that type of protocol, or,
Mhm.
or specifically Aave, because I would just find this fascinating. Is there a way, or do you know where I could find the yields on there, or like without like just some people know this shit off the top of their head. Otherwise, you just be like, Sam, go fucking.
They're
look up the
probably
protocol.
pretty low right now. I haven't messed with it in a minute. Let me look.
Or if you tell me where to look, I can pull it up.
I have to look myself, honestly.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
And I was talking to that guy from Fiat last night. He's a Hexakin and he's a CFA. So I'm going to talk to him more. Obviously, there's a million of these protocols that are going to come out, and all of them could easily get wrecked. So do your own research, people. It would be silly to do any of this until many, 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 many other people do it before you.
So whose dashboard is this? Is this you, Wendy's?
This is
No, I'm not.
bullish. This is bullish.
Okay. So this is that protocol, the Fiat.
Yeah, this is the test net. So this is hooked straight up to the test net.
Oh, wow.
So unlike a lot of the other stuff, they still do have all their test net shit ready, which is pretty dope, eh?
So yields are there look like they're very low.
Well,
So Wendy's, what is your? I mean, like obviously this is test net.
All right, so
it's
I'm looking at Aave right now. So let's see. So like you can, for example, you can supply dye, and you will get 2.25% back in dye, and then 0.34% back in Aave. If you borrow, the borrow rate is the variable rate is 3.57%, and the stable rate is 12.47. So let me see if there's anything that's like.
Where did you find that on their site? If you don't like, or what is it in the Agave protocol section, or where?
It's on
just
markets.
Markets. Okay, cool. Because I'm going to try to look at that. So those rates are low, right? Is that like that's my perception of that relative to what I've seen?
Yeah. It like I told you it was going to be low, and I haven't even looked in a long time. But just because of where the market is now, like yeah, it's going to be low. Like if you're making like I've made, I don't know what's the highest I made, probably like, well, the highest like safe return I've probably made is like around 30% APY on stable coins and stuff. But that's because everybody was using DeFi, and so like if there's high demand, then like at this point, like everything's nuked and people are just trying to get paid and like live off of interest, so everybody is supplying, and so that's why the yields are so low, right? Because
can you talk about that? Because you mentioned safe. You said safe.
Relatively.
Relatively.
So
yeah, no, right, relatively, right. So I agree. So what? Because you look at things like on say PulseX, or you go to like coindix.com or something, or .io, and you see, or like over on PancakeSwap, and you see things, or even just on Uniswap, and you see people earning a substantially higher number than 3%, right? So can you talk about that a little bit? That discrepancy in terms of the yields?
Like yeah. So you're saying where has higher yields? Like
no. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that, because like I'm like, okay,
well,
why would I do this? Just because it's so safe, like it's just sitting there, kind of thing.
Yeah, it really just depends. Like like what I've always said is that like Hex is the safest yield for because you're getting inflation, and the contract is essentially locked, right? And you have access to your keys at all times, and the liquidity is available to you when you want it to be, right? So like let's say you want to be liquid in a week, and you stake for a week. If you want to be liquid in a month, you stake for a month. These other protocols are vastly different. So I could supply $1 million, right, in DC, right? Sam comes and borrows Sam supplies, let's just say 1,000 ETH, and he says like, I want your $1 million in USDC. So Sam supplies the ETH, takes my USDC. Well, now I have zero liquidity for my USDC, but Sam's paying me 20% interest, right? So if Sam doesn't pay the 20% interest when the loan comes due, then I liquidate his ETH, right? So that's the thing. It's like you're always giving up something. You're giving up either your keys, and like if it's a centralized platform, you're giving up your liquidity if it's a decentralized platform. So you're always making some kind of trade-off, and you just have to be aware of that. Why some places are higher than others, it really just depends. It completely depends on where the yield's coming from. Some places might be smaller ecosystems, and people might be willing to pay more. So like, I always said before, I was like, people are like, Wendy's, where are you yield farming? Where are you? And I'm like, I'm not telling you guys shit, because if I tell you guys, you guys are all gonna flood in there and drain my APY. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I like making a lot of money.
Do you remember what my promo code for your website is? Is it Gymrat?
Gymrat 10 or Gymrat 15? I can't remember.
Sorry,
something like that.
I was just typing.
Yeah.
So John May asks us a question. Thanks, John, for asking the question and watching, and everybody else. I think all DeFi, like Aave, has counterparty risk. Am I wrong? Can you talk? So with Aave, you give up your private keys, right? Is that accurate? Can you talk about that risk?
No, not. You don't give up your private keys, but like you have contract risk, right? You have contract risk from like the Aave protocol. Like something could happen with the contract, and then but like, because it's been so battle tested, they have billions under assets.
18.
It's a lot. It's been used a lot. I think the risk is substantially lower, and that's why I say like risk adjusted, it's pretty, and that's why the yields are low, right? The yields are low because so many people trust it, and they trust it more than other stuff, right? Because they still have their keys, they log in, they can get their yield, and they don't have to worry about essentially like getting rugged, right? Whereas like any other platform that just pops up, the risk of like contract failure is much higher, right? So same thing with like MakerDAO, right? MakerDAO is one of the first DeFi contracts. That shit's been battle tested. It's been used a lot, so you don't have to worry so much about the contract failing, because guess what? It has failed. Like it failed in the past, and so like that shit's all been fixed now, and so it's relatively pretty safe.
So somebody and is there like, if somebody puts in $1 million and then somebody wants to borrow $1 million, the other, like what you just mentioned, BTC for USDC, is there like, can they borrow the full amount, or is it like they're cushion in there? Or
there's essentially like a slight cushion, but yes, they can pretty much take most of it.
And then is there a like?
And you just have to basically like log in. Dude, there's been times where like I'm like, man, when am I going to get my money? And you just have to log in every single day and just be like, oh, is there any money available? Oh, here's 20 grand. Okay, let me pull that out.
So is there a time frame?
Mm-mm.
So people can,
nope.
They can pay back at any point. Is that accurate?
Essentially, as long as they don't get liquidated, yes.
Okay, because that's what that margin.
Now, if somebody else, yes. Now, and somebody else, like, so let's say I supplied $1 million, a guy supplied 1,000 ETH, and then took my $1 million, and then essentially like is doing his thing. It's been a year, and he still hasn't paid it back. If somebody else comes and supplies another $1 million in USDC, then I have access to that $1 million, and I can pull that.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So somebody could be like, okay, I want to use XYZ token to get into this pool to earn.
It could be anything, right? Like it could be. So like, there's so many things that you can do. I mean, because like I said, it's money Legos, right? So like you could let's say you want to hold Bitcoin, right? And you're like, okay, I like that Bitcoin's like, Bitcoin just won't drop, right? Like no matter what happens, like Bitcoin just doesn't seem to like it won't go below 30K. So maybe some people really like that, right? Like it's not dipping 80%. Like as much as it should, it just won't, right? So people say, okay, I feel safe with that. So they get the wrap Bitcoin. Then they go into DeFi and they say, okay, well, I want the stability of my wrap Bitcoin, but you know, Wendy's wants to play. I want to play. I want to get some APYs. So I supply the wrap Bitcoin, and let's say I get ETH, okay? And so I take the ETH, and then maybe I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, there's a crazy yield farming program on this, you know, whatever. And so maybe I take the ETH and go like yield farm on, you know, some other protocol, and I'm making like very, very high APY. So like that's the thing that you could do. And at the end of the day, you still have your Bitcoin. So you're yield farming with like ETH and this other stuff, but you still have your Bitcoin.
That's what I was thinking. And you could use your yield to pay back your shit, basically.
Yep.
If you, depending on how you discipline you are, and if you're making money and nothing gets fucked up and all that details. Wow, that is awesome. Like, this is the first time I'm learning about this, and I like, you know, Wendy's, you know, I've only been here for 60 days, and I'm fucking loving it. It's awesome.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Because that's, I mean, that's. And what I know we talked about this on a different show, and I'm not saying that anybody should do any of the things that I talk about, right? But pulling money out of my house, right? Because I'm either going to buy another rental property or put it into crypto. So you're leveraging into crypto is how the simple way to put it, but everybody has a negative connotation associated with leverage into crypto. Well, I'm going to fucking leverage into another house or into crypto. Like I can take either one of those things. And to me, crypto is the better option. But going through and utilizing something like this, wow, like the doors that opens are insane. Like that's awesome. Because I mean, like I just literally wrote it down. I have a list here that just grows faster than I can make videos on shit to research to, one of the ways I like teach myself is by making videos, right? Because then I have to articulate it. I have to be able to articulate it in a way that makes some effing fucking sense, right? Or at least I perceive it to make sense to the audience. But it forces me to learn new concepts and things and protocols and stuff like that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that information.
Dude, there's something new every day. I mean, like people stay in their like in their small communities, and they don't. And even like I'm guilty of it. Like, I mean, since I joined, you know, the like Richard Heart ecosystem, like I'm less in tune with what's actually being built and what's going on out there. But like, there's so many cool ideas that people come up with every day that are DeFi related, and they're new and innovative. So
holy shit, this is can I want to show you one more thing, and then this will be the last thing because then I gotta get off and do some other work here. But if you take a look at YouTube search volume or Google search volume, right, the largest search engine in the world, and you look at the word crypto over the past 5 years, I'll share the screen here in a moment. It tells an interesting story, right? So this is crypto. I like to try to get like a macro view of things, right? So I look, try to figure out, hey, am I living in a bubble? Like you were just talking about, am I living in a bubble? Or is there some other points of view that I might be able to consider to understand a better picture of reality, right? And if you look at this is back in 2018, right? And then there's another spike here in 2019. Then you have this gigantic run up, and it's not dropping off in terms of search interest. This is on YouTube, and the same thing's happening on Google, right? And I think this is what's also holding up Bitcoin because there's a gargantuan amount. There's like 1.4 billion searches per day on Google. It's probably a billion, a little bit over a billion, or a little bit less than a billion on YouTube. And these are like, a lot of them are probably educational searches, in my personal opinion. Like that's what's probably holding up Bitcoin. But the next bull run is going to be fucking stupid. Like,
oh yeah, because there's going to be so many people. Man, it was funny because my sister was talking about it yesterday, and she was like, you know, when you were telling everybody about crypto, nobody wanted to listen. Like it was this like very niche thing. everybody, like Warren Buffett was calling it rat poison. Like there was nobody in crypto. Now it's so easy to meet somebody like in crypto. It's actually hilarious. So it's very funny to be like that early into something that is going to clearly take over. Like,
We're gonna call you Grandpa because you've been in here for so long, dude.
I mean, bro, I remember when it was like less than 10,000 people on like the Ethereum subreddit. Like it was empty. And now it's like it's crazy. Like if you look at the old conferences, and I wasn't going back then because I was like grinding, but like Richard Hart's walking around, like Charles Hodgkinson's walking around, Gavin Wood, Vitalik, and they're all like essentially like plebs back then, and now these guys are all like multi-billionaires. It's insane.
Wow. Yeah, no, this is like I'm thinking about Aave, and I was like the other strategy that I'm going through and refinancing, and it's like, wait a second, how can I apply this new information to be able to reduce risk and or increase the returns or withholding risk constant or something? And it's like, oh my God, like I'm, this is blown away. Like this stuff is, I'm super excited. I can't, people come talk to me in the gym, will ask me about shit. I'm like, about crypto, bro? Like it's just nonstop because I'm super excited about it. And I'm 60 days in. I can't, like, by the end of this year, it's going to be insanity. I'm very, very excited. So,
I mean, it's something that like will really.
My bad.
The next halving is going to be amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's so many people that are literally living off of crypto that, I mean, it's like you can't take it for granted. Like it's something that can pay off so well if you and I mean, like, man, I can't tell you some of the people like I've met in Puerto Rico and stuff like that. It's a small island where like if you're out there, you're a winner in crypto, and it's crazy, man. And the things that are coming, some of these people are onboarding and stuff. And it's funny because like Molly will like say stuff before like I would say something, But it's funny because like he'll say something and then like people are like yeah okay. Like they don't believe it or whatever. And I'm like, well, I was there for the conversation. Like I actually had the conversation. I just told Motley about it. And then, so I'm like, oh, this is 100% real. Like these people do have like this influence. And yeah, I mean, like literally we've had, conversations with multiple billionaires, that are entering crypto. So
I've got a call later this week. I had the first call in terms of educating my. He's got a couple $100,000 of Bitcoin, but like he's not into understanding everything yet. So I chatted with him for like 30 minutes the other day and sparked his interest. And now he's, oh, by the way, we got to 100 live concurrent viewers. So what's up with that? But I got a call later this week with him because he's like, oh man, I got to learn more about this. I was like, yeah, you fucking do. You could literally take your bag and double it potentially, or at least get some return for not doing anything, but just by moving into an ERC, right, or something from your Bitcoin, because it's literally sitting there not doing anything for you.
I mean, shit. Like I got, like I'm in the hospital for a week, and I get out, right, and I got thousands of dollars waiting for me in the form of this like second pulse doge. It's like you tell people that like, oh yeah, I literally got like. And I'll tell you, like Hedron, I mean, one of my friends like literally minted, I think like $300,000-$400,000 worth, a literal Lamborghini from an airdrop. Like think about that for a second. It's crazy.
I have basically no money in crypto at this point, and I'm doing what you were doing a couple of years ago. What Abit was doing, right? I'm in that process right now, and I am super excited because I try to explain to people like because I've got like this much, right? And and then I'm like, oh yeah, and I get this other free shit. Like I'm trying to explain that to people, and they don't understand free money, and because it's not something, right? They just don't get it.
You gotta buy the Lamborghini, and then they'll be like, how'd you do it?
Yep, that's
pretty much. That's the only thing that gets people's attention. Once you buy some crazy shit that they ain't seen in a couple years, they're like, "The fuck is this?" It's true. It's like unless someone's in the
I had to flex hard before people in my life like started listening to me. So
You
It's
had
just
to
it's just what people speak. And I think like if somebody knows you, like if somebody meets you, then and you're already like rich and established or whatever, like it's whatever, they just take you for your word. But like if they knew you when you were eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like in my case, they just cannot picture that you're rich now. Like it's just like, what? You like I knew you, because like when I made my first million, I wasn't like, like shooting like fireworks or something like that. Like it's nothing, I just stayed on my grind. I kept eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and
You
grinding.
knew
So
it
it's
was
like,
What Wendy's, what was the point where you allowed some lifestyle creep? Or like what point did you be like, okay, I'm gonna allow this? Or was it more of like a gradual stepping up?
it was very gradual. I think it was like there honestly wasn't too much lifestyle. Like the first thing was just getting free, right? It was like stopping working. And I had friends in crypto that were
So
like,
how did you find that? Like, would you be
it
like,
was
I need to
difficult.
be
It
making
was difficult.
enough earnings in crypto to cover my burn rate, or
I,
was it to replace your salary?
no. It had to be like, and I told so many people this, like when Hex was like going up, like there was multiple people that were like, they probably have like, I don't know, $200,000 worth now, and they were telling me like there it was maybe, I don't know, like 2 million at the time or something like that, and they were telling me like, I'm about to retire. I'm about to retire. And I was like, you better not. You better not. Because if you do, you're going to be like, like there was a lot of people that posted on Twitter that were like, I'm retiring. And it's like, no, you need to have like exponentially more money than you need. Like I was making more money driving to work than I was making at work. Right. Like the drive to work, I was making more passive income than I would make actually working. And I mean, I had so many people that were like, so look, there's a stress that comes when you go from like getting a paycheck to living off crypto, right? So because then the fluctuations of the market that's your salary, right? So if the market dips 80%, you just got an 80% pay cut, right? That's not easy. That's not mentally easy to handle for a lot of people. So you really need to really kill it before you think about doing stuff like that. Like, and I just say like, dude, don't be in a rush. Like, why be in a rush? And like, I think some people just watch other people, and that's the reason why they're in the rush. They'll say like this one guy, and I'm speaking of specifically, he was like, this was his first cycle. And I'm like, dude, this is your first cycle and you made like multiple millions. Like, dude, just relax. I didn't even do that in my first cycle, but like he's looking at me and he's like, oh, Wendy's is retired now, and maybe like I'm younger than him or something like that, and he's like, well, I deserve this, and it's like, well, you did not, you might be older than me, but you're not a more OG in crypto than me. So you have to like experience the bear market and go through that. And then perhaps this next run up, you can retire very comfortably, so it's one of those things. But yeah, I mean, it's a process. It's a process, and you really got to think about it. And you want, like for me, I like a portion of my portfolio in stables, earning stables, because it keeps me no stress, and that's what I want, right?
And
So
when you say earning stables, and you don't obviously have to share where the fuck your shit is, but like, is it LP? So you're just living off the yields from the LP stables, or is it like a individual pool?
Yeah, bro, I don't even touch my hex anymore. I just like throw it out now. I just keep throwing it out. And
do you wait till it consolidates, right? So you put them like, if you're like a lot of the people who've come on here, the underlying theme seems to be that they're like, oh, I have way too many fucking stakes. Oh, I have way too many stakes. Is that like, so you wait for them to like, you're like, okay, I got 3 coming due in the remainder of the year. Let me just sit on this for the remainder of the year till you consolidate them into one? Or are you just like, as soon as they come due, you're just
I have done that. I think like at this point, every like big stake that comes out, I just turn it into like another ladder, and I just want to get paid at a certain frequency. But like, so some people have done the whole, consolidate into a giant big stake. I feel like that could be dangerous, like a giant rolling stake. So I think the ladders is still the way to go, honestly.
I mean, I would still expect you to have a lot. Like I wouldn't. Instead of those people, somebody mentioned they have 200 or 600 fucking stakes, bro. Like,
No,
that's
I was
way too
never
much
I was
work.
never one of those people. There's people
Okay.
that literally, yeah, they stake every single day. I'm like, that's just too much. Like, I don't want to be that tethered to a computer. Like, so I don't want to get paid on that frequency at all. But yeah, I
Or
mean,
the management of that. Holy fuck! Like I don't want to even look at shit 600 stakes.
but yeah, I mean, like, so I make a lot of money in stables, right? And so I live off a small portion of that. And then, you know, like the rest, I'm just going to DCA into, you know, Pulse and PulseX.
Beautiful, awesome. Hey, Wendy's, I really hope that you have a speedy recovery. If you
Appreciate
have
that.
if you have any questions about, there's plenty of other peptides that are already
Yeah,
found in the human.
that thing to me, like where you get it online or whatever, and I'll order it for sure.
Cool. It's one of the things, and I'm literally, you can buy it at 1,000 places, but it's one of the things that I sell personally because
Oh, okay.
I've been personally using it since 2016. You don't need to buy it from me. Buy it from
No, I
any
will.
fucking company. I could care less, right?
Yeah, I'd love
But
to.
it's awesome. It is really, really awesome.
Unfollow Sam and then buy it from someone else.
And speaking of
Right.
follow,
Sam, you've got to learn the hard way about rugging, so I'm here to teach you.
Well, no, but the cool thing when you come,
Arbitrage.
like you guys already know this, but like I couldn't give two shits if anybody buys my shit. Like I'm gonna win anyway. Like you don't need to buy my shit. Like go buy your own fucking shit somewhere else. Support some other company, right? I couldn't care less because I'm gonna win either way, right? But it's just like I know I have this information that I know a lot of people don't have on the peptide scene or whatever you want to say. So it's tremendously valuable. There's other things like TB500, GHKCU, like that like a trifecta for healing, all work differently in your body and are all naturally in your body, all extremely safe. Like you're like, oh, put all this together and you can heal like Wolverine versus like a normal person.
I want to heal like Wolverine for sure. Let's go.
I'll send you over the trifecta. But
yeah,
anyway,
all right, Wolverines. I'm going to bull.
Oh, what's up, boys?
oh, who is that?
Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is this guy?
What's up, brother? What up? Oh man, too bad you didn't come on earlier. I have to run, but Motley, great seeing you.
I was
waiting to have him until you left.
Yeah, I was doing an interview with Corey Costa 123 on Twitter. Check that out, guys. Later, he'll upload it later this evening, I think. But yeah, I was busy doing an interview, but yeah, I thought I'd swing by and hang out with you guys. I figured, Sam, you know, you're at that time limit. You're one scheduled man. You have to go after a certain point, no matter how many burning questions you have left.
Otherwise, I'd be here all day and I wouldn't get anything else done. But I will, if you or Wendy's, I've already talked to GRC about this, or anybody else, real quick, Shill, if you guys want to watch at 5 p.m. EST on my channel, we're going to be going live with Hex Orca. And if anybody else wants to come on and chat, like we're going to be talking shop, talking crypto, Pulse, Hex, what's going on. What time is that? 5 p.m. EST. Bullish will probably put it into the chat. So if you want to catch that, it's not. It's not actually. It's not on the channel yet. I gotta create the thumbnail and then start sharing it out, but it will be there. So if you just go to the channel.
If the code's not available, I don't want to see it.
You got the developer right here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Is it right here, or is that Bullish in the background?
There's a developer here, and then there's somebody in the background who doesn't like to be. I don't want to share him with the world because I don't want to share the golden nuggets I have in the background. I appreciate you guys.
We're gonna outro you out with a quick 1 minute pump up.
the fat dude just curling at the end. I think that's my favorite part.
Amazing.
Curls for the girls right at the end.
What is new, Motley Investor?
Man, chilling. Just had like I was saying, I had a really good interview with Corey Costa. We had a really good talk, and I really enjoyed it because we kind of expounded on stuff like we did a lot of crypto stuff, but then we like transitioned it well with just like how it could fix a lot of the fucked up shit in this world. So it was I really enjoyed the interview. It was a good one.
Hit the gym today, guys. No excuses. It's bulk. It's the community bulk for the next few days.
Yeah, you got to bulk until May 1st, baby. Then it gets real.
I told everyone today, I was like, the more excess fat you have, the easier it is to win. 100%.
It's good. Dude, it's kind of it's a little twister, right? Because we're we're doing a fitness challenge, but it's just like, hey guys, become slobs right up till May 1st.
Classic crypto freaking degens, like freaking gaming the system. Most people would just be like, this will be a healthy thing. We're like, fucking eat.
I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna get fucking fat.
Everyone's in my DMs, dude. Dude, I'm eating my ass off. Like,
dude, I was eating lobster. I had like this bowl of like this beef broth and noodles. I had like 2 bowls of that last night. Some chicken. Like, yeah,
Your wife went God mode last night,
dude. I'm eating clean stuff. It is amazing, but I'm as much as I can consume. I'm going for it.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll probably be the biggest I've ever been.
How rich do you have to be before you're like, okay, guys, obviously we're eating too many calories because it takes a lot of our time to like cook and be like make the best meals ever. It takes a lot of time, right? For everyone.
Dude, bodybuilders struggle with that all the time because like they're looking at diets that are upwards of 5,000 to 8,000 plus calories.
They got to get sponsored.
They hate eating because it's work. Because I know a couple of my buddies that have done competitions and they're eating every couple hours, every hour, and they're just forcing, like, it's no longer for the enjoyment of food. If you ever want to like lose your love of food, go do a bodybuilding competition and just eat 8,000 something calories a day.
I have zero desire to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the way that I do it, it's a lot different in genetics. Those guys are trying to have like the best physiques ever. Like Sam's more on that end of things, right? Like Sam wants to improve his physique every
Sam's like literally like chowing down on like raw liver.
I don't want
raw liver and honey.
Yum. Yum.
That shit's pretty yummy though, dude.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. All that stuff's yummy if you don't eat a lot of.
I'll try one bite. After that, we'll see.
Liver and onions. You ever had liver and onions, dude? Come on, now.
No. I've never fucked with liver.
Guys. So yeah, no, we were talking about a couple things. We were talking about the not just the Aave fork, but the only reason I brought it up was because I was playing with the testnet last night, and they have a great testnet interface. So I was playing with it on the Pulse Chain testnet. And it's called a Fiat, PHIAT.
Yeah, I know the anonymous person behind that project.
He talked to me last night for 15 minutes, and he was very astute and very cool.
Buckfoot.
But I don't know who he is. He just seemed cool. But like at the same time, there's going to be 100 of these platforms.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm literally just researching, guys. I'm not fucking banking on any. I just happened to talk to the guy and look at the testnet.
That's the first Aave fork I've seen, and I know it's something Wendy's is talking about. That like we were even looking at doing it just because it was a necessary
I wanted to do it myself.
Right? Like it was one of the things that hasn't been necessarily built yet, or hasn't been spoken about being built yet for Pulse Chain. So it's cool that a community member is actually doing it because a lot of people will find use in that. And
he's in Legacy Bias too. He's a CP or. So that he has his whole background as far as what he told me was is CPA. Is that the word for it?
Maybe I don't.
What's the big test that everyone has to take that's real annoying that Sam always talks about, the CFA or whatever?
That's something completely different. So
CPA was right. I'm pretty sure if that's what he does.
No, it could be a CFA. It just depends. Like I don't know what his job is, so like it could be anything.
That would be you.
He's a CFA. There he is. Yeah, he's a CFA.
There you go.
Whatever though, but at the end of the day, guys, Power City, all these fucking guys are going to try to do this eventually. It doesn't matter. It just matters safety. Like that's why when I'm always looking into stuff, I'm not like throwing any money around. I'm just asking guys like, oh, you get the base understanding. Like, oh, you hear a few guys say like, oh, that guy's cool. Then I ask a couple other guys and they're like, oh, he's cool. He's done, and then you just learn, right? Like, and then maybe 4 months down the line, I'm like, all those guys said he was pretty cool. This is looking pretty good. Everyone's kind of on it. Maybe now it's time for me to double check, right? Like that's when
you might want to make sure you have like the holy trinity of hex first too. Get your hex, get your port copy, get pulse chain, get pulsex, and then if you really want to get crazy, you can start dabbling in some of this stuff. But ultimately, you got to understand, 2 of those 3 products are going to be brand new. They're not even launched yet, right? We saw how advantageous it was to DCA and to hex over the first couple months, first year of hex. It was very, I mean, you're doing absolutely amazing. So my recommendation is you can dabble with some of this other stuff. You can allocate a small percentage of it, but honestly, in my opinion, a majority of your economic mass should be going back in between like pulsex, pulse, and hex, because those are what's going to rock it the hardest and the fastest. You might get some pumps here and there with liquid loans, Mintra, all this other stuff, but man, I think everything gets just dwarfed by the Richard Hart products. You got to think it's Richard Hart's ecosystem. It's all vertically integrated, and these things just feed back into each other. And you have 2 new products that don't even exist yet. Like the upside for those is going to be, in my opinion, much more massive than anything else.
No snacking, Wendy's.
Yeah, fuck, you can hear me?
Yeah, bro. You got to mute.
Fitness challenge. It's not the noise, it's the fitness challenge. Those are pork rinds. If I could hear the bag right,
bag was.
I'm looking for
crispy ass bag.
I'm looking for salad.
Salad, and with pork rind croutons.
No, guys,
no, I was gonna make a salad with grilled chicken and some ranch. Actually,
that sounds yummy. Yeah, I've been so I don't eat, like I haven't eaten at all today. What time is it? It's 1:03. I'm gonna train right after this, and then I'm gonna start eating. So that's like how I do it in general. But that's just for work. My workload is so high right now. For me, just for me. Everyone's different, right? But like for me, my workload is so high that I don't even want to bother looking at the kitchen, looking at food, looking at anything. And right when I eat, because I fast so long all the time, I get completely groggy. So like when you fast all the time, not when you fast a little bit, but like when you fast all the time for like months on end, then when you like eat a piece of bread or like someone gives you like a blueberry muffin in the morning or something, you're like wrecked. Like you're just like you're in a coma. Like you just ate a turkey dinner on Thanksgiving. Like, So you got to understand a lot about this, but what I'm going to be doing with everyone, this is going to be really crazy. I haven't told Sam this yet, but I stream every day. I'm going to be doing 3-day fasts twice a year. So I'm going to show everybody how you do the 3-day fast, and obviously I'll update everyone at 11 a.m. during the day because I've gotten close before, but I've never like put my mind to it. I'm more so.
I didn't make it. I was I can't remember if this was it was your stream or whatever. I brought this up recently, but like the closest I ever made it to was like high 50s, low 60s hours. And then like I just started, evidently I think I was just going cold turkey too. It's just water, but like people are telling me it's like you got to make sure you're like replenishing electrolytes and stuff, because like I started like I was good, like the hunger was completely suppressed. I didn't feel the need to eat, but like I was driving, I was like noticing myself like swerving a little bit, and it was just like a little like thought process was a little too cloudy, and then I was just like, okay, I should probably eat because
you have to know beforehand. Right? Literally, the people that do it the best is like, now that you guys are going to be way more stationary in your lives, I'm assuming that, you're probably figuring some stuff out right now.
Sir, there's a fitness challenge coming up in 90 days. Stationary my ass.
No, I mean like as far as not moving your location as much as you have in maybe the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You guys haven't stayed put for fucking 6 days.
No, not at all.
Well, yeah.
So I know once you guys are staying and put and maybe like have a schedule where you're at your desk more often, just doing your thing, like doing a 3-day fast is way easier. When you have to leave the house, dude, you're wrecked. You can't do that. You literally can't leave the house when you're doing it other than just like the gym or whatever. But dude, I'm telling you guys, like it changes you. It changes everything. You have way more, you get a lot of understanding. It's like almost doing shrooms in a way. You just learn a lot of stuff that you didn't learn because you never experienced it before. You're kind of like, oh, wow. Like the body, like there was many men for years and years and years that starved. And like, this is kind of how you get like that. It gets a little bit,
this is why I was very blessed to come across wrestling for my sport that I did in like junior high and high school, because I'll argue that sport with most people that's one of the most physically intense and mentally grueling sports there is, because you really, just like you're saying, you have to know your body very well, and you learn about your body, what it can and can't do, because a lot of us had to make massive cuts in weight. And unlike even stuff with MMA and UFC fighting, you have like a day to rehydrate and recarb and get all the nutrients back in your body and kind of reinflate and recharge yourself. Wrestling, you literally starve your body. You try to do it the best you can appropriately, but you're starving your body, and then you do weigh-ins, and then you're expected to go out there on the mat and compete within like 30 minutes to an hour. So like that was one of the best things I could have ever done, was getting into wrestling, just mentally and physically. That was a test, and you learn about your body too, like what it's capable of, what it can do, what it can't do, where your limits are. And yeah, if you never done sport before, wrestling was a good one, especially at a young age, to kind of essentially have a better intimate understanding of your body than most people do. You're muted, bro. There you go.
Yeah, no, that's definitely pretty much it. You just get a more intimate relationship with your body, and you're not going off instinct so much. Everyone with their eating habits, they're very instinctual, right? Like, like if they see something, they'll get hungry, or if this happens, they'll get hungry, or if their wife comes in with food, they'll get hungry. But like, you have to just really train yourself to be like on that goal orient. It's hard too. Like when you're not single too. Like when I'm single, I'm gonna be trying to get pussy all the time too. So it's like, whoop, that was a little aggressive. For live stream. Excuse me.
Nah, that's good.
Nah, I know, my bad. But
Just keeping it real, sir. Keeping it real.
yeah, no, like,
No,
but like for real though,
so
when you're
proud of me.
single, like you're like any moment I could just meet a random person and it could go down. So you're like, I would like to be tight as a drum.
Dude, I was so proud of myself on the last interview. Like, I know some people say I cuss too much. I enjoy cussing. Came from the military and sports and all that stuff. Like we all
Yeah, you're a
cuss.
sailor.
And, yeah, I'm a sailor. And but it was funny during the interview. Like I kept catching myself a couple times. Like I would normally insert a curse word in there. I was just like, I'm gonna use something nicer. I think for the most part I got through it pretty clean, but I really had to like catching myself a few times. I was like, oh, I feel like
my grandma DMs.
yeah. Grandma's
like, you're a
corner.
star. You're so cool. Great stream. And I'm like, you fucking pussy, and I'm doing steroids.
I need pussy.
I'm doing roids, and I'm fucking getting rich off crypto. No, but there is like, guys, the reason we're so happy all the time, us three probably, I can only speak for myself, I guess, but these guys, whenever I talk to them, they're in a good mood. It's like the future is just so many possibilities for just doing amazing, amazing things. Who gets to say they have an opportunity to do anything ever? Like no one in this world. You know what I mean? And we have the opportunity to have enough financial wealth, enough knowledge, enough crypto savviness to do whatever you really want.
Dude. We again, we talked about this in the interview just a little while ago. It's like we have Hex and it's done amazing things. And people feel like they've missed out on Pulse Chain and pHEX, and they haven't even launched yet. But it just shows you how important it is now to get all this information, this knowledge, and make sure you're prepared for that opportunity. Like this shit's no joke. These opportunities that change your life, they come at maybe you might be fortunate to get a handful of these over your lifetime. And if you're not prepared for them, people always talk about like, oh, well, you're lucky to get into this or lucky that, but you make your own luck, right? Like having that preparedness, actually doing the work, the research, and being ready for opportunities when they come by. That's most of the battle right there. So like everyone right now, if you're not in Pulse Chain, pHEX, like, and even if you are, like, this is the time to get ready, make sure you're on testnet, playing with everything, knowing how to optimize your strategy, and get ready, because like we have another life-changing opportunity coming around the corner. If you're not ready for it, maybe you don't put enough money in it. Maybe you sell out too early. Maybe you get an impermanent loss because you don't know what you're doing, providing liquidity. Like you need to put in the time and effort to make sure that you succeed, because you're having another life-changing opportunity right around the corner. If you don't put in the work, you're going to get wrecked.
You're 100% going to get wrecked. You can't not get wrecked in the system. Like if you don't focus up and you're making moves, like if you just leave it and fucking go about your life, yeah, you'll be great. You'll be great off. But if you're someone who's going to be clicking a lot in your future and you don't know what the F is going around here, you're wrecked. You're 100% wrecked.
We were blessed with Hex early on, just like, and I reiterate this as many times as I can, but people don't realize how the staking feature seems really simple, but they don't realize how important it is because it saves you from your number one enemy, which is yourself. Because without that staking feature, we just be like all the other Bitcoin bros. We would have all sold on the first 10x, 100x, 1000x, 5000x.
You
Like
guys wouldn't
we would have,
exist. Like, I'm not saying you
yeah,
too, but I'm saying like
we would exist, but at a lesser value, right?
no, but
Like
as a stream, like as a community, as people that put themselves out there, how many
it
numbers
just
do you
wouldn't be the
need?
same.
It
It
would
just
just
wouldn't
be
be the
like
same.
everything else, probably, right?
And this is why like I continue to harp on this and stress this with this new ecosystem coming in, because like I think Pulse Chain and PulseX will do amazing things, but you have to be prepared to put in the time and skin in the game as well. Like it's not a free ticket just to just be here and just ride it out, because like if you're not careful and like you think you can just quit your job when mainnet launches, like you're probably going to be in trouble. You don't have the right mindset for what's coming out,
You
because
guys
these
laugh at
things,
those guys. You guys, I mean, we
yeah,
all do, right? Like you just giggle and you're just like, go about your day, right? Because you're like, you don't
yeah,
have what it takes. You just think you're just
they're,
not
they
there yet as far as mentally. It has nothing to do with the size of your
Well,
bag. It has
like I said before, it's because they're watching other people and they're not like, if you're, the thing is like you have to realize that we're all super blessed to even be in crypto, right? Like the most like pessimistic person in crypto, that's like putting money in regularly, especially if they're like grinding and working a second job or something like that, or has a side hustle, they might say, okay, 10, 15 years, I can retire, from crypto. And it's like that's not a thing in the real world. There's people working till they're like 70 years old. I mean, that's just
yeah.
a reality. It's sad.
Yeah, it's taking something like the fastest appreciating asset, the fastest appreciating asset class to overcome this broken system we're in. And we talked about this earlier in the interview I did, just with how the inflation is the all-time highs we've ever seen. Taxes are all-time highs we've ever seen. Like to get ahead anymore, this is the asset class to do it in. Otherwise, it would be almost unachievable for your average blue collar worker anymore. But don't get it twisted. You will put your time in, you will put your skin in the game, because but what's the equivalent? You wait until you're 80 years old greeting people at Walmart because you can't afford your fucking medicine? Or do you want to actually sit there and grind for another year or two, just like say Wendy's did, eat some peanut butter sandwiches and put everything you can into the fastest appreciating asset and grind, and then you're free after that 1, 2, 3 years you have to put in? You might have to suffer in the meantime. People just want a free ride sometimes. So you just don't understand
well,
it.
the people that want a
It's
free
going to
ride
take
have
some
no
pain and
idea what it
suffering.
even takes, like to do anything, right? Like the business aside, crypto aside, even bodybuilding, university, anything. Like if you don't understand
It's
that
all
you actually
sacrifice.
have to go all in on stuff in order to be good at it, then you're just not going to do it. Because like Richard always says this too, he's like, to be good at anything, you have to do it for like 12, 14 hours a day at some point, right? At some point. Like you're going to be going all day. Like that's what I'm doing right now. This is literally all I do. I just
And
fucking research crypto. I know more about crypto than a lot of the guys have been around long, because this is all I do: stare at the fucking screen and talk to people that are making new crypto.
yeah, and there's diminishing returns too, right? Like at a certain point, you're just like, okay, you're the best at this one thing, but then you're lacking in everything else. But if I'm going to choose one place to be consumed and to like devote a majority of my time, it's here, because when you get your financial freedom back, then it frees you to go do whatever else you want, or what you allocate as being worthy of your time, whether that be spend time with friends and family, to go get your health right, all this other stuff. Earning your financial freedom is probably the greatest thing you can do for yourself. So like, why not focus the majority of the time learning this area, this asset class that's going to get you your freedom back, right? So like after that, everything else comes, but it's going to take work, it's going to take time, it's going to take you putting skin in the game and putting your money where your mouth is to make that dream a reality.
And that's why I also am in the position that I'm in. Is like I did a lot of this stuff beforehand that had nothing to do with money. Like I was like soul searching and like figuring my shit out. And I was sober for a long ass time. You know what I mean? Like I figured a lot of the stuff out that people generally try to get a job first and figured out, just because that's how my life ended up being, not because I was intelligent in any way. But yeah, like I just did everything else. I was super happy before I ever found crypto. Super happy. Life was legit. Awesome. I was dating many people. I was having good relationships. I had good friends. I was going out a lot. Like I had a lot of money, or at least a lot of money to me at the time, and it was dope. So like when I found crypto, it was just doper. It was just like, oh, this is cooler than what I was doing before. Let me just do this more. And then obviously I quit my job. When I say quit my job, hey, I made $2,000 off the YouTube channel this month, so everyone can ask my D. Let's go.
Doesn't mean you quit working.
No, I work.
You quit your job doesn't mean you quit
I
grinding.
work
There's a
24/7.
difference.
I am devoting the next 10 years to my life to working every single fucking day. Obviously, you know what I mean. Like I'm going to be active in the business world, is what I mean.
Yep. Sorry about the dogs, guys.
You're cool. Is that the one that you posted a picture of?
I don't remember.
No, you posted a picture of that poor doggy.
Oh, the one I'm trying to get to Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's one of them. But she's quiet. It's the other. It's my mother-in-law's dog that's loud.
Are you gonna go down there and feel bad for every dog that roams the streets and try to bring them all to your crib?
Dude, I mean, no, because
there is no dogs that roam the streets in our neighborhood. We live in like the Beverly Hills of Puerto Rico.
I've been in Puerto Rico. There's dogs everywhere.
That's probably more like the Raccoon kind of area of the island. Yeah, the surfer area. But like now by us, there's not too many strays walking around.
Yeah, I can't wait to go down there and chill out with you guys and freaking teach you guys how to surf and do all sorts of crazy shit, dude. It's gonna be sick.
As long as you don't take me near any freaking reefs and rocks that I've seen out there, so I don't get.
No, you gotta
go
down there and know the surf. There's beach break. So here's the lingo. Let me hit you with the lingo so you know. If somebody says there's beach break, that means there is no reef. Beach break, no reef. So just ask, is it beach break? Because they're either one or the other. The reef's always there or it's always not. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yes. That's how reefs work.
beach break. So if somebody says it's a point break, that means that the wave always breaks at one point because there is a reef formed underneath of it, right? So it actually
causes the wave to
pushes the wave up. That's why if you take
that was a good movie, by the way.
Point Break. It's a good book too.
Yeah.
That's what
anything you guys want to talk about? I see like anything in the crypto world, anything in the business world you guys want to mention before we get off here? I'm gonna go rip the weights harder than every single fucker in my state.
The Fed's meeting soon, isn't it? Like today or tomorrow? Something really soon.
Pay attention.
So when that occurs,
for interest rates or what?
Oh yeah, they're probably gonna raise it 50 basis points.
So can they do that in one moment, Wendy's?
Yeah.
Like, do they just decide, okay, 50 basis points? Boop.
Yeah, it'll be the greatest hike in like 20 years. But I mean, at this point, I feel like nothing can kill Bitcoin at this point. So I think even that might not send us below 30K.
It'll hurt.
It'll hurt though. Yeah, it'll hurt. It'll hurt. But like every single time, I don't know. Maybe I'm like lulled into like a sense of security now. But it's like every single time it gets hammered, it's just a buy the dip opportunity. It's happened every single time. You know, it's like boom, shit gets hammered and then it goes back up. You know. Like Ethereum could go to like 2,400 and then it's going to bounce back to 3K. So who knows?
Bro, I just sold my last house. I'm about to sell my car, and I'll be primed and ready. Bring on the pain.
And then sneak into your
I got to sell mine like today or tomorrow.
No, I can't wait. I'm so excited for you guys to do your thing,
bro.
Dude. Like, it's motivating.
I'm selling my car. This is crazy, right? This just lets you realize how far inflation and the supply chain, everything's just gone out of hand. I'm selling my Ford Fusion. I bought, I think it's 2018. I've had it for a couple years now. I put on like 30 to 50,000 miles on it. I bought it for like a little over 14,000. I'm selling it for $17,900. Bruh, what?
Yeah, I bought my Toyota Camry for 22 grand a year ago, and it just got totaled in my driveway 40 days ago, and they gave me 26 grand for it. No, they gave me, I had to pay back some of it.
Well, was that insurance? It's a little different than insurance.
No, but I'm saying I paid $4,000 more when the car was more used, and then a year later it got smashed, and I had to get a lawyer, so they were going to try to rip me off, but that was like the max rate.
Dude, it's crazy. I've driven where else?
The crazier thing about that is that like, you did it at CarMax, which usually undercuts
still undercutting me as well. Yeah, so like they're still leaving meat on the bone for themselves. So I've had this car for 2 years, added 50,000 miles, and like anywhere else that would depreciate the hell out of it. And it's just a Ford Fusion. and you're looking at almost 18 grand now, where I paid 14 grand, 4,000 profit. Well, profit, right? But everything else, if I was to buy a new car today, has also gone up by that amount. So it's kind of the illusion that you're making money, but it just shows you how far out of whack everything is right now. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's so disgusting to watch normies say that it's normal and this is how it always occurs and no big deal. And like all the normies in my life, and by normies I mean my loved ones, they're just like, this is how it's always been, Sonny. Like, like this is how it goes. And I'm like, why is this how it goes when
Who
my
is
buddies
saying
are all
that?
rich? No, I'm saying like, like boomers that aren't in crypto at all, never been in crypto, never even would consider it.
That's
Just
called cope.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just disgusting to watch everyone get robbed and then eat their own ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're believing their own ass, right? Like they're selling their own shit. And
That's self-preservation. That's
Oh
like
shit.
cope.
Hex Monkey. Some don't realize that the top Hex stakers had to grind hard for years to get there. It didn't happen overnight. Wendy's and Motley are examples. Great stream. Thank you so much for the $50 super
Thanks,
chat.
Hex Monkey. Appreciate
Great
it, bro.
name, by the way.
Shout out to Hex Monkey.
Shout
He's a
out
cool
to Hex
dude.
Monkey. You're the goat. And I like your voice.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, right? And this is why we're so blessed to be in crypto. Not only crypto happened to find one of the best cryptocurrency that's ever existed, because it's bought us back our time. It's freed us, because everyone's just a wage slave these days, and you see it, right? Like everyone needs to work a 9 to 5 overtime. The spouses both need to be working just to stay above water. And so this is why we've kind of ended up in this like cancel culture era, because like everything's just become so, the scales have tipped so far out of balance. People can't voice their opinions anymore. And like the majority feels like they're the minority because they're scared to speak out at fear of losing their job. When you get your financial freedom back, you get the ability back to say no or voice your opinion, because you're not financially tied to your job anymore. You don't need that.
So
you don't
true.
need that paycheck to survive for the next month. You can tell them, like, you can say it nice or you can say fuck off, but you don't have to sit there and be trotted upon anymore, or have opinions that you don't believe with anymore, that you know in your heart are wrong, but you're so scared to speak up or to tell somebody no, just for fear of missing that job, because that job is your lifeline. Like that's how you survive. You essentially break the chains of modern day slavery, which is just becoming a wage slave. So that's why something like cryptocurrency and Hex is so important. It just gives people their freedom back, and people can speak their mind again, and you don't get all this bullshit censorship and scared to hurt someone's feeling just for the fear they're going to cancel your job and you can't fucking provide for your family anymore. Like it goes so much further.
Enough money to freaking make businesses in this country too. Like for fuck's sake, they're going to just drain everyone until no one can start their own business anymore, right? Like, and now crypto is going to allow everyone who's smart enough to take advantage of crypto to have enough financial freedom to actually have a creative idea spring up in their freaking heads. Because when you're grinding, you don't do creative. You just do work. Like that's it. You don't think like, oh,
you don't have time to have these
ideas are flowing. You're like, man, if I have to do this for one more day, my boss is doing this. I have 17 emails. Like, oh, I make sure I get to the gym. Like, you can only have one priority other than work, like the gym or like crypto.
This is why, like when we started Legion VC, like this is why we all kind of decided as a group to stick with staying in cryptocurrency, because all the money is to be had over here. Opening a business these days, brick and mortar, and trying to do all these other things, it's almost a recipe for failure. It's a disaster. Like, and what are you earning in return? A fiat currency that's getting devalued into oblivion. What they're saying 8.5%, but you know it's closer to like 15-20%, and then they give you all these crazy taxes on top of it. Why would I want to go in that business sector? Like, I want to stay in cryptocurrency. It's the only way to get ahead of the broken system that we're in currently. Like, it's, to us, it was a no-brainer to stay focused on this. Going into the legacy system is just crazy. Like, the only thing that we have that even touches legacy is hexmerch.com, and that's all just drop shipping and just simple stuff. So you don't actually have to do the brick and mortar, the inventory, all the crazy stuff, get away with 1 or 2 employees, and that's it. And even then, the gains are just nowhere near what you do in the crypto space. It's
if you have
the
any
future of where
overhead,
we're
you
trading.
can't outpace. If you have any overhead in your business,
yep, all your profit
you
margins are gone.
That's it. Like if you have $1 overhead, it's like, oh, we don't have any overhead over here. So that's it,
Very
right?
little.
Like,
Yeah, there's a lot that
no,
goes
you're getting
in
equity
R&D
challenges,
wise.
fees, and that's it.
There's a lot that goes in R&D wise when it comes to developers and audits and all that stuff that costs tens of thousands of dollars. But once you move past that and you have the intellectual property and it's able to just generate you money, just like Hex does with like a financial just printer, just printer goes burr, lay your head on the pillow at night. You don't have to worry about tenants or stuff breaking or the stock market crashing or closing or opening. It's a 24/7 perpetual just money generation machine that's not affected by man anymore, like the Federal Reserve that's so damn corrupted.
Oh,
They
and
just
we could talk
destroy the
about
U.S. dollar.
the stress that we've had with banks, me and you, just this week.
Yeah,
My
you
God.
finally got a taste of it. I've been there. Like you got a small taste of it just recently, so it's
Yeah,
it's
unbelievable.
broken, man. Yeah, so what Wendy's is talking about is so we're getting a place down in Puerto Rico and we're paying 6 months up front, which not the biggest fans of that.
No,
that
they basically like, oh, you guys are rich. Like,
yeah, they got
give us 6 months up front.
they stuck the gringos a little bit, but that's all right. We just wanted the place, honestly. But so we're wiring the money. Funny enough, we thought Wendy's money went through, and the whole time it was mine. And it wasn't making any sense because I was like calling my bank, and they're like, "No, we sent it. It says it was received. Yada yada yada." And then turns out it was actually Wendy's wire that didn't go through. He didn't know about it. His bank didn't inform him. They thought it was like fraud or something. Like, oh well, we reach out to you, or you have to go in the branch to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's battling that, trying to send the money back again, and it just shows you
I
how
went into the
broken it is.
branch. I went into the branch, and they're like, "Oh, it's not fraud. The other guy's bank rejected the wire. Why? Why did they reject the wire? What do you mean? Well, we don't know. He's got to call his bank. Wow, what? Like,
And then you have no means
crazy.
of communication when it's to the other institution too. Like when I was trying to figure out what the issue was, and then found out it was actually my wire that had gone through. I'm like calling their bank, but since I'm not a member, like it took me forever to finally get a hold of someone, and then I just had to be like, whoa, don't hang up. Like I don't bank with you guys, but my bank sent your bank money, and I'm just trying to get some cross information. I had to get the other guy on the phone to give permission so they can, so I can listen in, and then we finally figured that out. And it's just, it should not be such a headache and just a mental fuck of going through and trying to send your money to someone you want to send your money to. Peer-to-peer transacting is like what crypto is based on. There should be no middleman in between you and your money. I love Hex so much because there is just code in between me and money. There is no human element. There is no corruptible human element in between me and my money. You put a third-party bank in the system, well, where's that money going to, Mr. Motley? It's like, you can go fuck off. It's none of your business. And they're like, well, we want to know if you're going to send that large amount of money. It's like, it's not your business. It is a privilege for you to have my money in your bank. But we got it so ass backwards now. We think that the banks are giving us like a benefit for letting us leave their money with them. It's like, no, they make money off your money in your bank. They should be serving you, not the other way around. But we bend over backwards now saying, can I please send my money to Mr. Wendy's for tendies, please? Or can I please get my rates raised? I know I have 100 grand in the bank, but can I please raise it above 3 grand so I can like buy more than the jet ski I really want? Like, please, Mr. Bank. It's like, no, fuck that. It is your money. You worked hard for it. You put blood, sweat, and tears. You shouldn't have to freaking show someone a picture of your asshole to get your goddamn money out. They're garbage. It's a broken system. And you're on mute again, bro. There you go. it's that fasting fog that's coming over you.
Well, I'm about to hit the gym, so I'm like checking my hand shakiness. I'm like, hopefully I don't need to. But I mean, I was going absolutely berserk yesterday. I'm so amped up by everyone in the community. It really helps me too. Like, it's not that easy to be amped up when you're already kind of fit. It's kind of not saying it's not fun to get more fit, but it's like
you plateau. You plateau,
you
and then you need a drive, right? Like you have to find out what your triggers are. You have to figure out what drives you to get up in the morning, or put in that extra set, or put in that extra workout session, or tighten up your meal plan. Like you have to figure out something that motivates you, right?
Cooking,
and that's why
motivates me a lot. Like when I go to the grocery store and get all the meats and all the veggies and all the everything, it's like I'm good for a couple of days of like making solid meals at my house by myself. But I also
and
take
then it drops off. and then it drops off too, though, right? You do it for a couple days, and
Oh,
you're like, oh,
my
it becomes a
God. Yeah.
chore.
Well, I'm also a bachelor too. Like the structure in my life is more so like I could give a fuck. I could probably eat McDonald's all day and still look ripped. But like I'm trying to do it for me, right? Like I'm trying to do it for like the health purposes, the organ health. Now, for me, it has nothing to do with being ripped. Like it's just like I want to be. How can I do this long term with the least effort as possible? This is for me because this is where I'm at. Like I can do 45 minutes a day and stay in this body probably for the next 10 years. Probably have to amp it up a little at some
And
point.
this is what I was telling Bram when he made this comment about your fitness challenge. Just like because he used to be really skinny, and I know he's overweight now. And I'm like, I want people like good people like Brand. I want their health to match their wealth, right? Like you want to be able to, if you have financial freedom and wealth now, like you should carry yourself the same way health wise, so you can enjoy it, right? So you get quality and quantity, like the things Richard preaches on. And like going back to what you were saying, like we have to find what drives us, what motivates us to do better. And like that's why I love you guys doing this fitness challenge, because for me personally, competition drives me so much. Like I am competitive as fuck. Like if there's a challenge and you're just like, all right,
It's
first,
just
second,
so
third,
fun.
like go.
It's so
Like
fun to
I
do
want
it.
to crush
Yeah.
everyone. Like I
Yeah,
want
me
to crush
too.
all my friends so I can talk shit for the next like, however many months
Well,
after.
He'll
dude,
turn
just
anything.
imagine-
He'll
just
turn anything
imagine
into a
if
competition.
Hex has
And
done
that's
a 10X.
and that's the guy that competes against me all the time. So fuck off.
Imagine if Hex
I
does
mean,
a
true.
10X and we're all on the beach and we're in price discovery and everyone's just shredded. I mean, it's just gonna be glorious.
Well, it's cool. I think Bullish mentioned it would be really nice at the end of this if we could do like we could do a group meetup somewhere, and if a lot of us could like get in one place. Like I'm sure that would be a really cool like after photo, because it'd just be a bunch of just shredded yoked people that did an amazing job during your fitness challenge. So I think that would be really cool.
Puerto Rico on the
Anyone who
beach.
wants to get me going somewhere with a group of people, you just tell me where. All I gotta do is grab my laptop and dip it.
Yeah, even doing like if every person like agrees, or like everyone agrees on like using the photos, like you could do a before and after, or maybe they're not comfortable with the before but they're really confident and excited about the after, and you could just do a whole collage of just everyone and the improvements they made. Like it's
like that's
it's
stuff
inspiring
that
stuff.
never has happened in the crypto community ever. Like this is
God,
the first
no.
time anyone's ever done a crypto fitness challenge, because I checked the domains. No one cared to. So they were
They don't usually coincide, right? Like
No, they
fitness and
don't, but I'm
crypto.
trying to make it so normal. Like my goal in this community, other than providing like dense content for like people to learn, is like I just want to make crypto and like just lifestyle just like the same thing. You know what I mean? I think that we can just almost like casual our way into being like crypto's just cool brand shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just dope. Like you know what I mean? To the point where maybe it's just more so like a casual thing. That's kind of how I've always thought about it too. So maybe that's just me.
They should go hand in hand again, right? Like
Yeah,
your
because it's
wealth
about
and your
discipline.
health should go together, because they both require discipline. They both give you a better quality of life. Like it's yin and yang. You need both to prosper.
Delayed gratification.
You can have all the money in the world and you could be the unhealthiest, most miserable person, and it's just going to amplify that, right? They say money is an amplifier of your current situation. You could be you could be super depressed, and like you could have millions of dollars, and like it could go to the point where like you just don't want to live anymore because your health isn't in place. And it goes the other way. You could be the healthiest person in the world, but you're over here grinding 9 to 5 and you can't spend time with your family or any of this stuff, and like you don't have freedom. You've given up your freedom. You might still be a healthy individual, but you don't have the freedom to do what you want to focus on anymore. So like they're synonymous in my opinion with each other. So it's very important. And that's why I love this fitness challenge that you guys are doing, because the community only gets stronger physically and mentally from this, and just good things are derived from that situation, right? So like I'm really excited for it. You turn it into a competition, which I love doing and I love winning. So like I'm excited for it to go down.
This ain't no giveaway, motherfuckers. This is a competition. This ain't no giveaway. We ain't no giving away nothing.
Yep. There's no sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna earn it.
I want everyone to do well, but there ain't participation ribbons at the end. Like you're coming to win. You don't get the little green ribbon. Like
now there's like you gotta game theory it up for, because there's 3 winners, right? And they all have the same they all have the same value. So you got to game which one you think you're gonna win. Like, so if you're gonna hedge your bets that you'll be
all 3.
the one that me and Sam picks or the one the community picks. But there also is one in which inside of the app, there's tasks you do, like go for a 30-minute walk, this, that, and the other, and you get points for it. So
Nice.
like that's where the leaderboards come from. There's like stuff you can do added on, and they give you
Right.
points. Like post your meals, post your picture, do this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and again,
I can
guys,
post food pics.
the only pictures of the befores that'll be seen, unless somebody cares to have me share them on stream, are me and Sam and Bullish. No one else will see them.
Well, unless they give you guys
Unless they
consent,
give me
right?
consent, of course.
Right.
But just in general, like this isn't just going on like the front feed of everything. Even though my
That's
feed
good,
it
because
didn't seem like
that-
anyone was too shy on my feed since there's 197 photos.
But there are some, right? There are some that are self-conscious, and sometimes that could be a demotivating factor where they're just not comfortable showing that stuff. But if you know it's private and the guys behind it are respectable and aren't going to show that, then that gives you the confidence to participate in something like this, where normally if it was more of a public event, they might not, right? They're like, I don't want to see anyone to see the before. But doing it this way is really smart on y'all's part.
Yeah, no, it's been such a team effort. Like I just came up with the idea on the fly. I was like, I want to do a competition, and then of course I couldn't have done it alone, right? Like if it was just me. I'm just like the guy who like speaks and talks to everyone. Like has
I'm
good
looking
ideas,
I'm looking
right?
at
I don't know.
I'm looking at Bullish's comment of in the private chat. He's like liver and honey, 20 points.
Oh,
It
that
might
would be
need-
a good one.
I-
You have to.
I would.
And if you videotape it, you get like 100 points. And if you put,
Yeah,
it
I
on
was about to
Twitter,
say you
get
need a
10 more
video.
points.
You need to videotape that, because my cheating ass is just gonna put a plate of liver
No,
and
you
honey on there,
can't.
take a picture. Oh, there you go.
All right, everything's gonna have to be video recorded because Miley just said he already
Nah,
put the cat out of the bag. We're all cheating. Fuck.
I'd
I-
snitch on
I-
him. I would
I
not
w-
let him.
I
win
would.
like
I
that.
wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, because anyone that knows me knows that my ass is not eating liver and honey. Sorry, Sam. I don't think I can swallow that. I don't think I could get that down if I want to.
Yeah, great stream, guys. Amazing stuff. Sam got into the weeds. He broke Hex. His first downtime ever in Hex was when Sam was decoding it right there. First downtime.
What
He-
what was the flavor of the month with Sam's questions today?
it was just arbitrage, basically arbitrage, and like just
He was
yield
talking
farming.
about like parity of like hex and pHEX.
Oh yeah, I still have to go through his video and see what his conclusions were.
I
Yeah.
still have to go through his video, and I already watched.
He
his
thinks
video, so-
like a 1-to-1 parity will happen. And I think that it won't.
No, I disagree. I would love a 1-to-1 parity, but probably not what's going to happen, right? Like, I mean, and I think Wendy's and I have talked about this before. It's just like, I think pHEX will always probably lag behind, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, I think just with the new shiny objects syndrome going on, the new ecosystem, and again, we're here to incentivize with the incentive token and LP rewards, but it's gonna be hard to keep it exactly a 1-to-1 parity. We'll see, but it should be interesting. There are large bag holders, the OA, that could definitely sway the narrative, but we will see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, God, it's so confusing. There's no point. Get all your positions and hold the line, fam. You gotta hold the freaking line.
Get the Holy Trinity. You're good. You can't go wrong.
You get the Holy Trinity, and then all like the ball sacks that hang off of it, the hedrons, all the free shit you get. Like, you know,
The
it's
ball sacks that hang. Clip that, Bullish.
like every great
all the ball
Trinity
sacks.
has
Ball
a
sacks.
great bullish. Hey guys, real quick. Okay, so Fashion Coder's stream is pending, so I'm gonna post a clip to her. You guys go over there and say GRC sent you. Everyone knows I got a little crush on Fashion Coder, so we can go over there and say GRC sent you. She's pending right now. So I'm about to get off.
Sounds good. Raider.
So yeah, raid her. Nope, we're not gonna say that either.
Yeah. I know where you're going.
We're just going to say that I hope everyone has a wonderful day. It's your boy, GRC. If you have not already signed up for the Crypto Fitness Challenge, we're getting close to 200. Well, I think we might be getting close to 175 now. Go to the description, go to everything that I own. It has the fitness challenge posted on it. CryptoFitnessChallenge.com for sign up on May 1st. On May 1st, that's when the app goes live. So if you're watching me on Sunday, if you've already signed up, you don't have to worry about it. You'll get the notifications and everything. But watch me on Sunday so we can make sure everyone's in, get the final count, and then boom, stop eating those burgers right there. Boom. Burgers, boom, done. No more burgers.
Bro, let's see. What? Oh man, I totally just blanked on what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, go over the prizes. So 110K hex currently, right?
100K hex. Well, one of the guys is on AK, so I don't want to confirm his yet.
Okay, so 100K. I'm still 100K hex. Shield Masters is in for shield. Do we know what shield it's gonna be?
So we're doing this is where it gets cool. A
Yeah,
shield
go
of
over all the
choice,
prizes, bro.
custom. Any shield you
Custom,
want. So if it's
nice.
Legion VC, you can just do Legion VC. And if you want to do the Wendy's for
Oh,
Kenny face,
you just fucked up because Motley's gonna go really hard now.
I want that. I'd want that shield.
no, I know. So you can buy, and if you want a Wendy's for Tendy's face, you can get a Wendy's for Tendy's face.
I'm good on that. Bullish is about to go over the prizes, so you don't fuck it up. I think.
Let Bullish speak for a second. Let Bullish speak. What have I said wrong? And correct me, please.
No one said anything wrong. Just came in and give some support. So shout out to our supporting sponsors, Shield Masters, who are going to be giving away a shield to each of the winners. We have Triggered, who's going to be giving away a supplement package. Motley, who put in 90,000 hex. JPEG Junkie is going to be providing the achievement for NFTs, which is for every 30, 60, and 90 days. We also have a $500 store credit on hexmerch.com. And Marco the Hexican also threw in 100,000 hex. And just as a reminder,
100,000?
Sorry, 10,000. My apologies.
Oh,
my apologies.
Damn. I gotta look out for my boy Marco. I
I
was like, damn, don't do my boy like that.
So at the moment, there's a total of 100,000 hex.
Okay.
There is a total of 100,000 hex. After May 1st, the prize pool continues to grow. So make sure you sign up. But at the end of the day, it's not about the prize pool. Let's all get fit. Make sure we survive healthy to reach these 555.
Facts. Well said.
Wow, seriously, guys, what bag that you're gonna get for competing in this and doing well. Like, my God, it's amazing.
Yeah,
and
you in the mirror and you get a big bag.
And no one knows what that bag is gonna be worth in 3 months. So imagine whoo. Whoa.
And if I could read my DMs, we probably have more, but I can never look through them at this moment.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's already a bunch of people contacting us that we need to.
Too many people with stupid stuff.
If Jim Rat's not responding to you, just DM it to me and I'll forward it along. Because he's slacking.
Yeah, you can definitely.
I'm learning how to be a complete internet nomad. The transformation is happening. I'm like in and out of like real life. I'm like.
Yeah, check out Marco's comment right now. He said what?
Oh my God, Marco's single now, guys.
Marco,
good job.
Don't worry, Marco. Tell your wife. I was like, hold up, someone added an extra 0 there.
So that's for a total of 100,000 hex right now, and
there we go. Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, this is where we end. I'm going to play the promo video to go. Don't forget to go to the fitness challenge. Thank you so much, Bullish, of course. The fitness challenge. Don't forget to sign up. It's 100% free, guys. This is all just like a little bit of an experiment for me. Obviously, Bullish knows what the F he's doing.
Killing it.
GRC don't know what the F he's doing, but I know how to do fitness. I know how to do meal prep. I know how to do everything in that realm, and I'm going to provide as much as I can in that realm because I think fitness is a lot easier than people want to think it is, right? I'm doing 45 minutes a day, guys. I'm freaking yacked, guys. 45 minutes, and that's only because my calories are low. The only reason I look like this is because my calories are low. You can take every steroid in the world, and you're a fat boy if you're fat.
Just get into your routine. Just get into your routine. Once you're in it, it's hard to start it. It's easy to fall out of it. Once you get that routine going, and like GRC said, it's pretty straightforward. Even if you don't have the cleanest diet, if you have less calories coming in than you do, less calories coming in than you have going out, boom, you'll shred up in no time.
Still no Richard sign up, but I mean, he did retweet it on the Telegram, so he definitely is aware. Maybe he is signed up under an alias. Who knows?
And just as a reminder, this is going to be for weight loss and weight gain.
Transformation.
Transformation. So whatever your goal is, we'll have supplemental content. You're going to have the support from Jim Rat and Sam. So please sign up. This is not about, looking like Sam. It's whatever your goal is.
Right. Dirty Dirty bulk until May 1st. Got it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna play the video. Thank you two for being awesome members of this community. Probably some of the best guys I know. Literally, I'm running out of guys that I know, so that list is, you know, we can do about 7 to 10. So you guys are like, top 3. You Sam and Wendy's. Tangent, you're on that list, but you're calling the Bitcoin like 100K, so you're kind of off that list. Anyway, guys, it's your boy GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. I'm coming at you live every day. I might be coming on with Maximus for an hour later just to talk to him about some stuff, because that's a really cool thing that went on over there. If you really think about it, that was insanity. I mean, what happened? And I just want to talk about it to him a little bit, and I enjoy talking to him. So, guys, go over to Fashion Coder if you haven't already and tell her, GRC sent me here.
Say GRC has a crush on you.
Yeah,
GRC
there you
has
go.
a crush on you, heart face.
That's better.
Go now and say it, and then, if we get married one day, that'll be a cool story. Guys,
I'll start from stream raid. Later, guys.
Let's play that freak. Oh shit! I'm